Here we go again.
Hello, Cleveland! Hello, Cleveland!
As we say, this is the open chat, and we are indeed live. And hi, folks. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. We are indeed here. This is the Lavender Lady, Diana Clarion, welcoming you to the open chat. And we have with us the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful Kate Farr, Bionic Dance, and we have Mom NATO, and we have her spawn.
Yes.
Dear
Lovely
tornado,
frog spawn.
yes.
Did you get to see the latest movie night?
I was in bed, in pain.
Yes. He found out his nickname.
Oh,
Baby Pelt.
okay.
Well, he used to be called Tornado Pelt, right?
Right,
So now
right.
he's like, what was your nickname for me, Mom? And I was like, Baby. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, she used to call him Baby Pelt. So that's his new nickname, Baby Pelt.
I'm almost sorry I missed it. The nerves are treating me a little better. The pinched nerve slip discs. Those are, It was
Heating pad.
Yeah, it was shoulder. I have cervical discs and lumbar discs slipped.
Ooh, ouch.
Let's throw the thoracic discs in there as well, and have a
Let's
trifecta.
hope not.
Oh man, you don't want those slipped. Let me tell you. But that was part of the thing that spawned the title, if you will, where I was dealing with doctors and co-payments and things like that.
Yeah, well.
Now, of course, Diana.
Yes, dear.
Seen any messages, so I was worried about you.
I also happened to completely and utterly lose my temper.
Hey, honey, you want to turn your volume down just a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Not
no problem.
exactly unexpected. Based on the 2 movie nights I watched, that seems to be your MO.
Yeah. I spend most of my time telling him, Tornado, shut up!
No, I mean, I completely lost it because
So what else is
the
new?
guy was going on about
We're not
how
going to redo it. Been there, done that. Let it go. Please.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to let go of these things, but I'm going to have to go back and watch and see what happened and see what was up.
2 words: religious globetards.
Yes, we got called religious globetards.
What the hell, man? By whom?
Oh, it was in the video. Anybody who is a globe is a religious globetard.
No, get it, Mom, get it right.
Okay,
He said
anyone
who looks at the flat Earth and then sticks with the globe is a religious globetard. In other words, anyone who applies any amount of critical thinking is religious.
Oh, okay,
Well,
whatever.
That's
He's a dumb fuck.
yeah.
We all agree with that.
And then I proceeded to snap at him.
But he wasn't there to be snapped at.
Video. You just snapped about the video, Talon.
Yeah, just keep it.
Just let it go.
You're going to.
They're trolls.
You're going to die of anxiety before you're 30. Seriously.
Battery's becoming a serious germaphobe already, so.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah,
Excuse me, child. You better zip your lip.
Yeah.
That's starting to piss me off.
She's close enough to slap you.
I'll go in his room and slap him.
How's this for audio levels?
Oh,
That
that's
volume
better.
level is
Much better. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the whole title today was I had received a bill from my medical provider, which was self-inconsistent, let alone inconsistent with everything else I'd been billed. What do you want to call those things? Co-payments.
Yes.
I never know what they're going to be, and when I have to,
That's fucked up.
at the end of the month, I'm lucky if I have 30 cents, let alone the $35 that they want for a co-payment or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And what's really weird, the co-payment depends upon the rank of the person I see.
The doctor, right?
Backwards,
See,
it's backward of what you would think.
Yeah. See, I have for regular PCP, I don't have a copay. For specialists, I pay $10, and for urgent care, it would be $10
Okay.
for my copays. And for medication, it's $0 for generics and $25 for brand name for my drugs.
So, in other words,
$25.
Mom's copays are just about zilch.
If that's what the drug costs. If the drug is over $25, I pay just $25.
But still,
if it's under, I pay whatever it's worth. Yeah.
Still, that's
But that's for
a
brand
week's
name.
worth of groceries, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's weird. What they do to me. This is fun. Thank you, Mr. Nixon. I had an MD as my. Every time I hear that thing PCP, I think phencyclidine, but that's angel dust. But
angel dust, yeah.
So I was getting a $5 per visit copayment, which was fine. Then Marty retired at the end of June,
right?
This past June, and he passed me to his protege, who I didn't know at the time was a nurse practitioner, and this is going to become significant. Because the co-payments for her are $40. Now, be it because of a lesser rank or a lesser gender or whatever the hell it is, somebody who needs the supervision by Pennsylvania law of an MD is assigned a co-payment greater than that of the MD.
That's really
weird.
Yeah.
That is odd.
But that's what Aetna does.
Well, okay, I guess I can understand it to a certain degree simply because I guess if they're being supervised by an MD, then 2 people are doing stuff instead of just 1.
But then what's the use of having nurse practitioners? Just, go to MDs. Now, I know that they came up with the idea of a nurse practitioner because the MDs had phenomenal caseloads.
Too many.
Yeah. They were overworked. So you went to a nurse practitioner who can do pretty damn well much everything the MD can do.
Right.
I forget there are 1 or 2 things that a nurse practitioner cannot do. I forget what
the backstroke.
Okay, that's one of them. Yes. And Omega Nuts, I'm with you. I am with you.
I don't
100%.
know that they can emit you to the to the hospital. I think they have to get a doctor's approval for that.
Okay,
but I'm not sure.
That would make sense.
I'm not sure.
Because I know that they can prescribe. So you've got that going there.
Just please.
Well, wait. I have a question here. Are you on some sort of state insurance, or is this private?
This is private.
Okay, so how are you not on state insurance? Surely you don't.
Not old enough.
Okay, this is weird.
Well, I'm 44 and I've been on state insurance for like a decade.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I've been on Medicare since 1990, so I've been on Medicare for 30 years. But this other stuff is atop the Medicare. I don't know exactly what it is they do, but they claim that it reduces your costs. I'm not sure that it does.
I have not paid a penny out of pocket for medical expenses my entire adult life, except for one trip to the dentist. Okay, now I don't know if it's just the state where you live or what, or some weird condition or whatever, but both Washington State and California Neither one charged me a dime for medical care.
Have you considered seeing Diana if you qualify for Medicaid?
I have tried. No, I do not qualify. My income is literally about $50 more than the cutoff.
Okay.
No, I've tried. I have.
But with Medicare, they should cover your doctor's appointment, shouldn't they?
Okay, normally when I would go to a doctor under Medicare, I would pay 20% of the bill. So were I to see, where's this thing that, where did I put it?
What did you just do, Kate? Everything went black for a minute.
Yeah, that's because I'm trying to force my camera to behave itself. It's like right now I have 5 different lights on me trying to light my stupid face, and it's not working. Ordinarily, like with my actual webcam program, I can adjust like the gamma and the gain and all that shit. And but in these browser-based things, it never lets me, and I don't know. Maybe it's hidden somewhere or what, but I cannot adjust my camera settings, and it's a pain in the ass.
Oh my, okay, so
that's just fine.
That's problematic, definitely. Yeah,
you know that thing you were bringing up how the nurse practitioners can prescribe?
Yeah.
I just hope they don't prescribe anything that goes by homeopathy.
They're not.
Not to worry. Not to worry. I've been dealing with the people here at Metro for 10 years now, and they're really good. They really are. One of the best things about them is they are queer friendly, especially tranny friendly. As a matter of fact, the doctor there was the person I saw to go on to hormone replacement therapy.
I'm confused, actually. Why would a doctor be friendly to your car's transmission?
I have no clue.
That's difficult because I don't own a motor vehicle.
I mean, I have a mechanic who's tranny friendly.
Well, it's funny. I seem to remember there was a cartoon, like a comic, that had 2 different scenes of, oh yeah, I can help you out. This one's a tranny, and one was for a garage, and the other was like a gay bar or some shit. I don't know. It was an old cartoon.
Yeah,
but so unenlightened is my point. This cartoon, but still, it was funny.
Well, then again, I do know a tranny-friendly tranny. As a matter of Jen Morgan. She worked on BMWs for a long time professionally. But what we've got here, what were we? Okay. So we've got Becky's bill here. Yes, I'm on first name basis with everybody there. One of the visits was a $216 charge. So under Medicare, I would have paid $42.
Right.
It's not much better with the Aetna, let me tell you, because they wanted 40 for her. But the MD very likely would have cost more as far as the bald charge goes. But for him, hopefully I'll pay only $5 a shot.
Chroma can?
Say again?
I don't know what this is. I told it to use it, and now I'm blurry.
You're really blurry, but there's a lot. The lighting is better.
Ugh. Damned if you do, damned if you don't with this stupid thing.
Yeah, the iris is. You've got a really good f-stop going there, but the focus is for shit.
And like in my webcam program, there's all of these wacky ass settings that you can do that will change all of this. I just have no access to them in this stupid program.
And the other problem with it is their brand is all over the damn screen. The brand takes up more of the screen than you do. Oh, God.
Oh, such a pain in the butt.
Isn't it, though?
Oh, wait a minute. There's a chroma kit. Well, anyway, talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to see what I can do with this crap.
Yeah, there's and I know that I'm probably doing a very, very bad thing here, but I thought I would throw this in. I saw on Twitter that Shannon Q is going to be on what is it, the Great Debate or whatever that, what's that debate show called? I forget. The I could go and look if I were not lazy. But I'm lazy, and that's not a good thing. But she's going to be debating Trent Horn from Catholic Answers on abortion at 8 p.m. So if anybody
Oh,
wants to go there, I've
Jordan Bennett.
I've locked horns, if you know, pun intended, with Horn several times. He's a slime ball, absolute jackass. So
On
I
a
wish
scale of
Shannon.
1 to F, on a scale to F0 to F5,
Yes, dear.
or how quickly do you think I would go F5 on his sorry butt?
Measured in milliseconds.
Well,
Yeah.
that doesn't bear much hope for me.
Probably several milliseconds.
Oh,
No big trouble.
goodness.
So I don't blame you guys if you run away. Um,
Run
but
away.
yeah, I wouldn't blame you guys for running out of the audience and going to see Shannon, because honestly, I would be there were I not running the show. But there's always later, so you can take me in. Yay! And then
Yeah.
go see her in the rewatch. Um, okay, Amiga nuts. 80%. That's for hospital, is it not? I pay 200 max. 20 at a time. No, the Medicare would be 80%. They cover 80% of whatever you do, after the deductible. That's the other one. Because Medicare does have the deductible. I forget what it is now because I haven't had to pay that deductible for quite a while. Um, yeah, what was fun about hospital is I think you guys know about my kidney biopsy back in September. That cost me $275
Oh,
as a copayment
God. Wow.
for laying there and getting a needle in my back.
Don't like
Um,
needles. Don't like needles.
Well, happily, they had me drugged up to the point where I didn't feel any of it, so that was okay.
Yeah.
Oh my, oh
Well,
my,
I had
oh
to
my.
warn the phlebotomist today. I was like, I don't mind the feel of the needle, but I cannot look at you and see what you are doing. You have to distract me so that I do not see the needle going into my skin or I will pass out.
Okay, wait a minute. Kate says that she appears to not be audible. People in the audience,
Huh.
can you hear Mom NATO? Um,
La di da di da.
Because if it's one of you, that's the problem of the person who cannot be heard. If it's both of you, it's my problem. So we got to figure
Hey,
this.
what about me?
What about you?
Well, they just told Bionic Dance yell louder, so I don't know if they can hear me or not.
Yeah, I'd really like to know because I have to look at what's happening here. Yes, what?
Yeah, they
dear?
can hear me.
How about now?
Now,
we can
now
hear
you're
you,
audible.
and your camera's working.
Yay!
Thank goodness. Oh my gosh, that was such a pain in the tuchus.
Yeah,
Yay,
we can
you're
see
nice
you
and
clearly.
clear and everything. And
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But hey,
anyway,
Did you figure out what the problem was?
no, but I did a few things that seemed to have worked. I did the technological equivalent of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
I was going to ask you
Yeah.
what size hammer you used.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
my.
um,
You need to run Linux.
shot. Right.
I give you the hard time now.
Linux can go right ahead and slurp my butt.
Okay. Oh,
I said
my, oh,
Linux,
my.
not
enjoy that.
Diana. I said Linux.
That's interesting, by the way, kids. I took a delivery this morning. Amazing the way you spoke, Kate, of having the Amazon delivery. I have never had this happen to me, but at 8 a.m., there's a knock on my door. And there's this guy holding a box. Hi, I'm from Amazon. This is for you. And this is at 8 a.m. It's amazing.
Okay.
Usually,
Having anything, Amazon, UPS, USPS, anything delivered before noon is a shocker.
yeah, absolutely. This is the first time this has ever happened to me in something like 30 years, 35 years of getting deliveries from
Somebody
these people.
sent you something.
I had ordered a Switch.
Okay.
What I'm heading for is 2 monitors shared over 2 computers, two at a time.
Right.
So it's
You have to get the right.
cross my fingers. It's going to help with things like that problem I have with sharing things over. Hopefully, it'll help me with that. Sharing video clips and everything else like that.
They should have taught you to share in kindergarten.
Yeah, really.
They just couldn't do it, man. I was really stubborn that way, and
Well, I actually really like it when Amazon is handling the delivery rather than they've foisted it off to, say, USPS or UPS or whatever, because with their delivery service, they provide GPS. They tell you how many stops away you are from delivery.
Okay, then yes.
What I don't like about USPS is our mail carrier does not knock on my door, does not notify me that I've got a package outside. So Tornado's Christmas present from my brother-in-law's, sat outside overnight because we didn't know about it.
Oh my.
Thankfully, nobody stole it.
Yeah,
So
because that happens quite a bit.
He did get his Godzilla. Yeah. So, but it was
massive.
The thing from nose to the tip of its tail is as long as one of my arms.
Nice. Okay, then.
Yeah, it's a big, big Godzilla.
Fan?
Can't think of the word. No, not a fan.
Psychopath.
No. I'm just gonna make it stay out of my head.
Aficionado?
No.
Okay. Am I close?
Action figure.
Godzilla
action figure.
You're talking about the Godzilla itself. I thought you meant like, oh yeah, I gave it to this huge Godzilla fan.
No.
I thought you were talking about the recipient. Okay.
No, darling.
Well, you understand my suggestions now, at least.
Yes.
Oh my. Yeah, I saw it go up. I didn't notice it until just now. Omega Nut says, I'm a little bit cyborg. I'm wired with a neurostimulator. Are we talking tens here or something like that? At your leisure, let us know.
So you know what I've been hearing about is apparently, I think it's Sweden, is trying to do this thing where they implant a chip, and I think it's in your hand. And now if you want to pay for something, you can just touch it to something, and it acts like a debit card.
That's a little creepy.
All I can think is, unless it is constantly monitoring your pulse and will deactivate itself if you're not alive anymore, that could be like a serious. I mean, people are lopping off hands and paying for stuff with lopped off hands or extracted chips or some shit.
Oh my, that's
creepy sounding.
Shades of Michael Douglas in Dead Zone.
Oh, see, I was kind of picturing like, say, cyberpunkish stuff like Shadowrun, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the thing?
Playing Shadowrun and doing shit like that.
If you don't
I saw something where apparently I want to say it's UPS, has decided that they will not keep on any employees or hire any employees who smoke.
I saw
Now,
that. I saw that.
They claim that it's just, we want healthy employees. But you know what they're really doing is saying we want to save money on our insurance, on our health insurance.
Absolutely, yes.
And I thought about it and I realized, you know what? I want them to do this. In fact, I want every company to do this just to watch big tobacco lose their shit. And then we start with like all sorts of corporation wars and have them fighting amongst themselves. So they're not paying attention to our dumb butts anymore. And when I had that thought, because I don't even know if I'm really serious about it, it was just something that went through my head. I was picturing old school cyberpunk where, the corporations have taken over everything and it's all wars between
and they're attacking each other.
Yeah, that's what went through my head. And I realized that the reality will never be as cool as the fiction.
Right.
But I was thinking, I would love to see what happens if tobacco gets in a war with UPS. What happens?
Well, if I remember correctly, it's already okay to do that in 20 states. No, 21. 21.
Don't know.
So that's interesting right there.
I'd seriously love to see a company that has its profit margins just killed to see the pushback they attempt. Like, if we do get Medicare for all, how many insurance companies are going out of business? What happens?
All of them, basically. Yeah, and they're not going to like it.
That's what I mean. I knew that part. The how many was rhetorical.
Yeah.
What happens next?
So was my all of them.
Well,
I mean, it's...
what I think is it would happen is that, the tobacco companies are constantly trying to hype cigarettes. And honestly, they've known since the beginning that
since the beginning of time, addictive. Basically.
Natural tobacco grown is not as addictive as the stuff that the cigarette companies make because they spray all sorts of chemicals onto it to make it addictive.
They spike it. I know that.
And as I understand it, nicotine itself is not the carcinogen. It's everything around it that comes with it when you smoke.
Right. So you've got nicotine being the addictive substance that keeps you reaching for the cigarettes or the pipe or the cigar or whatever it is. But then the tars and everything else screw you up.
And think about the filters they use.
Well,
what are those filters? Yeah, those are fiberglass filters. So, of course, you're breathing in fiberglass dust into your lungs.
Yeah,
which is part of what's causing the issues.
What is the coal miner's lung called? Mesothelioma?
Yeah, mesothelioma.
Yeah. At one time they were cotton filters. That was a long time ago. Maybe not as dangerous as the fiberglass filters are now, but it's
well, they're even finding out that these electronic cigarettes are just as bad for you, the e-cigarettes, with the flavorings in them, because the flavorings are part of the problem.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I wonder is, is there such a thing out there as a flavored vape without anything else? You're just inhaling flavored steam and that's it.
No.
I didn't.
There should be.
There should be.
There should be, because I remember when I would go to the goth club in Seattle with some friends of mine, they would let me have one of their Clove cigarettes, and when they were still sweet, because now they're super freaking bitter, and I would not actually inhale it. I would taste it and blow it out, and that was it.
Yeah.
I wasn't really smoking it, just to get the taste. So if someone had a vape, now this is my weed, not tobacco. But if someone had something like this and all it was water and flavor and you just tasted steam and blew it out, I'd be down with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember the Clove cigarettes. I did not like them. They were, by the time everything was done, they turned my stomach. And even then I said, they all should do this.
Does anyone remember commercials, I want to say from the 80s, could have been the 90s, about Nick, a teen? It was like this guy, his name's Nick. He's a teen. He's smoking cigarettes, and it's all like horrible, bad.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
that-
remember the commercials, but then again, I haven't had a television. I haven't watched television in a lot of years, so it could be that I missed it.
Okay, Hammurabba, I can't read it from back here. Hammurabba Bobble of Carthage. Hannibal, there it is. Hannibal of Carthage, yes, Goth Club. What part of that's confusing? I don't know why that would be confusing. Yes, I used to go to goth clubs. Well, a goth club. There were 2 in Seattle, and one of them was shite, so I went to the other one, and the one I liked, for once, the one I like wasn't the one that got shut down. So, yeah. Man, how
people in
many
emo
times
clothes
have I found
everywhere.
some place to hang out that I absolutely love, and within a couple of months, bip, gone. It's happened far too often.
Oh God,
You
yes.
know, or there's 2 choices, and the one I like best is the one that isn't popular.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness I was too young to try to decide between VHS and Betamax, you know?
Oh man, that's the interesting thing. There's a video out there. I'm trying to remember the guy who does it. The demise of Beta. The reasons Beta died and VHS remained. It's too bad, really, because when you came down to it, Beta was the better format.
Oh yeah, I mean, didn't that happen with, like, I want to say with Blu-ray or something? That there was another format that was coming out and it was better, but Blu-ray just sounded sexier, so more people bought it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Something like that.
No.
Maybe it wasn't Blu-ray, but there was something where people just bought the other one because of the name, not the quality, because it just sounded cooler.
Maybe Laserdisc.
Something like that. I don't know.
I'm going to go
DVD.
look.
But yeah, it's that happens all the time. So
Oh,
are
my.
we just talking medical stuff, or is
No,
it
all
the
kinds
cost of living for everything?
All kinds of stuff.
Oh,
I mean, we
God.
don't even have to talk cost of living if you don't want to. I mean, that was just
Well,
a
I just thought
Kickstarter.
we could-
I mean, cost of living for everything is insane.
Oh my
Um,
God! Don't even get me started
Well,
on
I
that.
mean, even just here in San Diego, owning a vehicle comes with so many extra costs. I mean,
Yes.
like I said, I live in a condo, and it came with a parking space. Whether I drove or not, it was part of the rental, not rental, the purchase, the property. That's what I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
Okay.
And so obviously I wasn't driving for a very long time, and I'm not yet, although I'm getting closer. And so I rented out my parking space to one of my neighbors whose condo didn't come with a parking space. And apparently $100 a month is an amazing bargain
Yes.
for parking. I'm just like,
Right.
that is completely crazy pants. That no one should have to pay that much just to have a vehicle, especially in a town where you need a vehicle to get frickin' anywhere. I mean, you really do. San Diego
Yeah.
is so spread out, especially compared to Seattle. And so the idea that you were paying that much in parking, it's like a hidden tax, a private tax or
Right.
something. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And that's just one aspect of living, one cost.
Look at the cost of car insurance right now. I pay $125 a month for car insurance for the basics
Crazy.
here in Florida. It is. It is absolutely ridiculous.
And let
And
me
the thing
guess,
that
you've
gets
got a
me is-
deductible, don't you?
No. Well, I don't
deductible?
know. No, I think I have a $500 deductible.
Of course you do.
Yeah, and
What
the
are
thing that gets me is
deductibles?
that it keeps going up every 6 months. And I'm sitting here going, I'm not getting in any accidents. I haven't had any tickets in the 3 years that I've had this insurance. And yet it's still going up every 6 months. And it's like, what the fuck, people?
They should treat it like credit, where, I mean, because my credit's amazing for really stupid reasons, but it is because now they know I'm not a risk. And
Right.
insurance should
No, I
be the
think I
same
have a
way. Insurance should
$500
go
deductible.
down based
Right.
on how much trouble
Yeah,
you don't get
and-
into. And tornado, a deductible is kind of like a copay, just insurance version.
If you
basically.
have an accident, you
Yeah.
pay the first $500 of whatever it's going to cost to fix the vehicle, and then the insurance covers the rest.
Yeah.
Unless
what's-
it's a car repair, in which case you have to pay all of it.
Yeah, what's really fun.
Well, I suppose it
is-
depends on the policy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier today. Poor people are forced to spend all sorts of money for vehicles that most of them can't afford. I can't afford a
Yep.
vehicle, for fuck's sake. But just the way things are laid out, you really have to have one. And if you somehow decide to make do without, you're punished for it.
Well,
You can't drive without insurance.
right. Well, the thing about Florida is if you have a Florida driver's license and you have a registered vehicle, because you can have the license without having the vehicle.
Oh,
But
right.
if you have a vehicle registered in your name, if your insurance lapses on that vehicle for more than a few weeks, they will start charging you with tickets, even if you're not driving the vehicle. And they will tell you after the first month, if you do not get your insurance reinstated, they will suspend your license.
Okay, that's horseshit.
That's
that's-
absolutely crazy. I mean,
But that's the
if
way
you're not-
Florida works.
Well, you're always hearing those things about Florida man did this, that, and the other thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
Florida's nuts. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's okay.
And that's why I'm never going to get a driver's license here. I'd much rather walk everywhere.
Well, if San Diego had a bus system like Seattle, I wouldn't even be considering a vehicle because Seattle has
Right.
the most amazing bus system I have ever encountered.
Mhm.
Whereas by comparison with San Diego, you're basically just hitchhiking. It's
Yeah.
awful. It really is. I mean, honestly, if the weather had not been kicking my ass, I'd still live in Seattle. I really would.
Right. I couldn't stand all the rain.
Well, that's the
The
thing. It's
rain would
clouds,
just
not rain.
make me-
I keep having to explain this to people. They think it rains a lot in Seattle. It barely drizzles. The truth is, it's overcast constantly.
Yeah, see,
And
that would
occasional precipitation, but not a lot. Not as much as people think.
still the overcast skies all the time would be depressing.
Oh, it would kill me.
Absolutely. Although, and I know I've mentioned this before, I think I know ways to combat it. I mean, I've got that really amazing
Sunlight.
light that does amber instead of white. There are blinds you can get that will change that harsh white color. And I think I could survive it if I found ways to reduce that harshness. I really do.
Okay, then. Yeah, I see that Atheist T-Girl is here. Hi, how is you? Yeah, you were.
I kind of got woke up from a nice rest to get on here.
You were
Now, I'm
streaming
pretty
against
sure-
us, and shortly we'll be streaming against Shannon Q. But that's another story entirely.
Now, remind me, because my memory for names is crap, but Atheist T-Girl, we met at Faithless Forum, right? You brought some spawn with you, a small child, probably like 11 or 12 or some shit. Am I right? That was you. Yes? Well, I guess we're lagged, but there'll be a yes or a
we
no.
are
in the
horribly,
chat
we are
eventually.
horribly lagged.
Okay.
I mean, right from the minute I started the preview, this thing was lagged, and it was like, oh, I can't fix it. Yeah, that's the other thing, that the way things are working with the co-payments I'm probably going to expect and everything, and everything's basically, finances have basically caved in on me. Looks like I'm going to be staying home this year. I mean, no big deal, really. It won't kill me or anything, and you guys will have a better time of it. You won't have to put up with me at Faithless Forum. But yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm still trying to decide if I want to go. I probably have to choose between Faithless Forum and American Atheists. I hope I don't. I hope I can manage both, but I might have to choose. And if I do have to choose, see, Faithless Forum tends to have more of the atheist YouTube community there, from what I've seen. And so it's more of a, I hesitate to say family atmosphere, but it kind of is,
Yeah.
compared to American Atheists or Skepticon, where it's actually a lot closer to like a sci-fi convention or a comic book convention, only atheism style. And also it's a bit more of a party, I would say.
Mm.
Now,
Like
of course,
if you've ever been to a party at a convention of any sort, room parties and all that stuff, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
'Cause
absolutely. Yes.
American Atheists will get like that, where Faithless Forum, not as much.
Yeah, I remember the
I'm
mental
gonna-
orgies that I used to go around the country, basically. One, sometimes two of the conventions per month. And
Yeah.
I knew how to throw a party.
I've heard terrible things about convention parties.
Oh, okay.
Well, I guess it depends on the convention, I'm sure.
Well,
but,
yeah, exactly.
But I
man.
mean, I know I've told the
Terrible
story about playing Magic the Gathering with an NFL player in the penthouse.
Oh
Right?
my!
I've told that story.
No.
Well, I know I've told Diana,
heard
but all right, real quick, I was in the penthouse, and there was this sort of sunken, like lounge thing in the middle of it, and
Yeah.
I was a little bit tipsy, but not very. And someone who's playing the game goes, "Oh crap, I gotta go! Quick, Kate, take my cards!" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I hadn't played Magic in like 10 years, but I remembered the basics. So I sit down and the guy on my right starts kicking my ass. Like there's 8 or 9 people playing. He just targets me. And I'm like, gee, thanks. But little do I realize that not only is that the keynote speaker, but it's also an NFL kicker who was kicked off the team for being an atheist. So,
Oh my!
yeah, Chris Kluwe, his name is Chris Kluwe. So that was an interesting experience.
Why would they kick him off the team for being an atheist?
They kicked Colin Kaepernick off for kneeling in protest.
Yeah, they're
I mean, the
weird.
NFL is apparently anyway.
Really screwed up.
Um,
That's prejudice.
that's
Of course
just
it is.
one of my
But, what are you going to
convention
do?
stories. Conventions are great.
It depends, against whom you are prejudiced. Because if you are prejudiced against a preferred target group, it's not prejudice anymore. I mean, I mean, consider, 50, 70 years ago, it really wasn't considered prejudicial by the greater part of society to practice prejudice against a person with an overabundance, as they said, of melanin.
Me, I just look at them and go, so you have an overabundance of melanin. So what?
We get that
Okay.
point, yeah.
There is a meme going around where the reactions to it are so unconsciously racist, it's weirding me out that no one realizes it's what they're doing. It's the picture
hold on,
of
I got
a
something.
hand, a gorilla hand with vitiligo. And so a lot of that dark sort of almost inky blackness of the gorilla's hand is gone. And people are remarking, oh my gosh, it looks so human, when they see it in a more Caucasian looking skin tone. And I'm sitting there going, so it looks human when it's lighter, eh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell the difference between a human hand and an ape hand. Their hands aren't even.
Whoa.
Their nails.
Time out. Humans are apes.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
I think we
yeah,
already
yeah,
know
yeah.
that, but
Well, we're
Okay,
primates.
gorilla
There's a
hand,
difference.
then.
A gorilla's hand looks nothing like a person's hand.
I'm gonna have to object to that one too, but hey.
yeah.
Oh my god!
Hold on, I'm gonna.
Are we going to have a debate?
Oh, don't get me
You
started
guys
on
hear
the
me?
definition of person. But okay, that picture I'm talking about. I mean,
I'm gonna have to
you
go.
can see the
friends are
different
calling.
shape in the
Bye.
fingertips because they're a little more blunt.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
But-
the shape. They're
I know, but
fingertips are more
the problem
See you
is
pointed.
guys. I have to
they
go. One of my
didn't
friends is
notice
calling me.
the
Take care,
shape.
honey.
They didn't notice the
Bye.
similarity in the shape until the dark color was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wonder what they would be saying if, when all of that much darker blackness was gone, if it was more of, say, an African skin tone rather than Caucasian.
Yeah, you have to wonder.
don't
You really
know.
do.
So it's just something that, like, I've been watching people reacting to it, and I'm like, you are revealing things about your character I'm not sure you intended.
Right. I mean,
Well, Hannibal says maybe humans were originally darker skinned and evolved lighter over time. Well, that's pretty much what happened. I mean, the
Yeah.
genetics were there for the lighter skin tones as well as the darker skin tones. It's what you could get away with. This is
Right.
the thing, with me about evolution, that sort of thing. It's not. Oh, it's nowhere near survival of the fittest. Okay, it's
right.
if anything, it's extinction of the unfit.
Yeah, Neanderthals were dark skinned, dark haired, dark eyed, and then you had the what did they call them?
Cro-Magnon?
Cro-Magnon. The differences in the Cro-Magnon and Neanderthals. One
Oh, yeah, well,
I
there
don't
are-
remember who was the blonde ones. The ones that came in that were blonde.
Oh, the Vikings.
Yeah, but they
I'm
weren't.
kidding.
Yeah, that was a long time after the Neanderthals.
Bloody Vikings!
Bloody Vikings, yes.
Oh
But
my! Well, wait a minute. What I'm
Was it
trying to think
Neolithic
about
man?
here. What I'm trying to think here is: does anybody have any preserved skin from these guys? Say
I don't think so.
60,000 years ago. I didn't think so. I thought the differences we knew about were skeletal. So where the
No, they have one. I believe it's one ice-aged man that has skin left on him.
Well, so Ice
he
Age.
was-
That's only what
yeah.
12,000 years ago. That's
Yeah,
well after
but that's the
Neanderthals
closest-
went bye bye.
Yeah,
Didn't they
Neanderthals. All they have,
recently-
I think, is
I saw an article like where they recently found, I want to say it was a goat from like 12,000 years ago that still
A
had
mammoth.
liquid blood in its veins.
a mammoth. I think
I could have sworn it was a goat, but okay.
might have been a goat. I don't know. I know they found a mammoth, where the blood was still in its veins, but it had frozen, and then when
no,
they
this was
warmed it
liquid
up. Oh, okay. I know when they warmed up the mammoth to extract tissue from it, they found that the blood had reliquefied.
I mean, oh no, it's not a goat, it's a foal, is what it is.
Oh, a horse.
okay,
Wow.
It's your liquid blood and urine found inside frozen 42,000-year-old foal. That's it.
Wow. 42,000 years.
Man, that's almost.
That's almost Cro-Magnon and almost Neanderthal.
What was the the Futurama character's name? Fry something.
Oh yeah, Philip J. Fry.
Philip. I couldn't think of the first name. Okay, yeah, that's almost that caliber going on right there.
So yeah, I don't know anything about that particular.
I need to rewatch Futurama. It's a fun show. So yeah.
Yeah, Matt Groening, even better, I would say, than The Simpsons. Especially later Simpsons.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I would have to really think hard on that one, actually. And maybe it's just because, I was in junior high, I think, when The Simpsons were new. And so there is a certain amount of long-standing affection for it that may be slightly overriding my more objective judgment of quality. if that makes sense.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I had come out here when The Simpsons debuted. That was '89, if I remember correctly.
I just graduated
Oh, well,
from
if
high
it was
school.
89, then I was in high school.
I had just graduated from high school when The Simpsons came out.
Well, I don't know if you could say that they debuted. Well, the series debuted then. The characters are older
Mhm.
than
Oh,
the
well,
series.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were on like the Tracy Ullman show as shorts,
Yes,
weren't
they
they?
were. Yes.
Yeah, which I never saw. I never saw the Tracy Ullman show, which is
Me
maybe a
either.
shame because I kind of like her, but even so.
Yeah, I remember seeing that show years and years and years and years and years. More years
We're
than I
dating
care to think
ourselves.
about.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm the only person who will date me, okay?
Oh.
Anyway.
I've got a creepy thing for people. My birthday this year is on Friday the 13th.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's funny. My cousin Jessie had not logged on to Facebook in a very long time, I guess, because she only just now thanked me for her birthday wishes that I gave her. Her birthday is on Christmas.
Okay.
And poor girl, right? She has it worse than I do.
Yeah.
But I make a point of wishing her a happy birthday on her birthday because a lot of people probably forget amid the holiday, and she's only just now thanking me for it. So, but she was like, "You always remember."
Oh, bushy
Yeah.
boy.
Okay, that's something I've been meaning to ask you about. Who is this upper middle class rabbi you keep talking about?
Bushamoy.
Bourgeois?
Oh.
Oh, that's it is.
Because you keep saying bourgeois moil, and I'm so confused.
It is in Slovak and Russian and probably a few more languages. It is basically, oh my god.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I figured. That's been going through my head for like a week, and I've been waiting for you to do a live stream and to say it so I could make that joke. So,
That's one of my fond memories. My babka would say that all the time. Oh, boy. She said
My
a lot
Granny
of things.
Wimbeck would say that.
Say again, hon?
I said my Granny Wimbeck would say that.
Oh, okay. Okay, the extraction is what, Polish? Slovak?
I'm not sure which. She picked it up from a relative, like her grandfather, because
okay.
her grandfather was half German and half something or else. I don't know what. And she, of course, by the time she was ready to have kids, she was 100% Pennsylvania Dutch German descent. So.
Okay, sounds familiar. That was my ex's extraction.
Yeah.
Well, her mother's maiden name was Kechlein. So know that's Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
But what was really fun, it knocked the male slimy bastard off his feet when one of the customers that would come into the store was a black guy. And what knocked the old man over was whatever started it. The black guy started speaking fluent Slovak. And the FSB is looking at him. Where does that come from? And it turned out that he was a caretaker for an old Slovak lady who spoke more Slovak than English. So that's where he
had to learn.
He had to learn, yeah. And that's where he picked it up. But something we were talking about what people think and how prejudicial people are. It threw him for a loop that someone who was not white was speaking Slovak.
Right. Well, that's like I have a Polish friend whose last name is Jazikowski.
Okay, fine.
And he says he regularly gets sneers
for what?
and just side looks because of the fact when he gives his name out to some of these people when he's doing stuff because he's Polish.
Is this a holdover from the era of the Polak jokes? I mean, when I was a
I think
girl,
so. Hmm.
because
I think so.
yeah, there was a heavy Eastern European
Hmm.
bent.
All in the family.
Yeah, I grew up in Cleveland and Parma, Ohio.
Hmm.
Parma was a suburb of Cleveland. It was at one time the
Yeah.
largest suburb in the country, and it was a heavy Eastern European population. So you used to get the whole White Sox bowling shirt Polacks.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
see, he lives in New Haven, Connecticut.
oh, okay, I get it. I understand it
Uh huh.
completely now. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh huh.
You know,
Hmm.
okay, you know how I've been looking for those places that I remember from the whole like seizure thing, and I've been trying
Hmm.
to find with it. I have been noticing just how little originality there is in the naming of US cities. Do you have any
Hmm.
idea how many New Havens there are?
Yes.
Oh my
Oh my
word.
gosh.
Think about how many
Oh,
Yes.
Kairos.
and
Well, there is.
I can name at least two Troys. Don't get me started on
Hmm.
Hartfords and Concords.
Yep.
It's just, yeah, it's crazy.
Well, there are
Somerville.
17 Clevelands.
Yep.
I forget how many Pittsburghs there are, but only one of them
Hmm.
with a final H.
Well, there's
Mm.
only one Fulton.
Okay.
I mean, it would not shock me to discover that there's more than one Montpelier, but I only know of the one.
Jefferson. Jefferson City. I mean, do you know how many Jeffersons there are for cities?
Oh, I only know the ones that were on television.
Very
Sorry. Actually,
funny.
I'm not sure I've ever in my entire life seen an episode of The Jeffersons.
Oh,
You're not missing that much, really.
I
no.
know for certain I've never seen The Brady Bunch, though. And it is
Oh,
available streaming, and I'm very tempted to try it.
oh,
I don't
please.
know,
No.
just to know.
No.
It's not
No?
worth it.
It
No.
is.
Tacky doesn't quite cover it, does it?
What?
Tacky
What? Oh.
Tacky.
doesn't quite
No.
cover the Brady Bunch, does it?
Well, you know,
The
I'm actually
the humor in it is very dated.
Yes.
I mean, it's so dated that you just want to sit there and go, why the fuck am I watching
Well,
this?
I
see,
did.
now I'm extra curious now.
Okay.
I want to know.
Just watch one show and you're going to be like,
Yeah. I mean,
face palming.
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't find it funny
night.
in 1969, let alone now.
Okay, good night.
Well, you know what's funny?
Hey,
It's like
Diana.
I'm actually friends with the guy who killed that show.
Oh, really?
Like on Facebook, Robbie Rist is a friend of mine. He played Cousin Oliver.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
What?
Now the thing is, like, I mean, a mutual friend introduced us, but we've never really interacted that much. I just have him as a Facebook friend. But today I discovered that he actually reads my posts because he replied to one.
Ah,
Hey.
that'd be like,
Yeah.
here's another show, The Partridge Family.
Never seen it. Never seen it.
I have seen it. Oh, Danny Bonaducci,
Okay. The redhead.
the redhead,
Yeah.
was the local TV host, or not TV host, radio show host for the radio show Y107 when I was growing up.
Well, why?
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking it too.
Why?
I
Why not 108? You know.
Yeah, I was
Because
thinking.
Y107, I have no clue.
Well, where would you have to go
But-
to have a radio station's first initial be Y? I know that
I don't
Mexico
know.
is X. Western United States is K. Eastern United States, for the most part, is
W.
But
Right.
No.
you could have a radio station YNOT and advertise it as why not?
Why not?
Somebody's
Well,
listening,
you know
and
what's
they're going
funny
to
is
do it, and I'm not going to get a finder's fee.
I have to keep explaining to people that the radio station that played like all the popular music near me really was WXXX.
Okay.
That it's not a joke.
my.
It was not a porn radio station. It's it's 95.3 FM, WXXX 95 XXX. That is a real radio station. But when I tell people, yeah, 95 XXX, they're like, what? Come on, that's just porn. I'm like, no, I will show you their website, bitch. You know,
I like
that
what ADHD girl had to say here. Cousin Oliver is now like a TV trope for a show is dead. What I'm trying to remember now, did Cousin Oliver kill the show, or was it already coughing up blood, and they brought him on to try to save it, and everybody knew it wasn't going to work.
As I understand it, they did bring him in to try to revitalize it. I guess a cast member left or some shit. I don't know. But what ended up happening was everyone blamed him for the demise of the show, regardless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, what show was this?
The Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Robbie Rist is his name. He was also in the original Sharknado, which
Never
I thought was
watched
pretty
it.
funny. And he
Never
was a
watched
very,
it.
very, very small part, but he was in it.
Let me guess, he got chomped by a shark.
Actually, I don't think he did. I think he got away. But it's been so long since I saw Sharknado, I'd have to check. But I'm pretty sure he lived through it.
They have so many Sharknado movies
Ugh.
now. It's like, oh God, kill me now.
Yeah.
No, cat, go away, cat.
They really did milk the concept rather more than they ought. I remember, there were these two movies, and I cannot remember who directed the first one or the second one. One of them was James Cameron, the other was Joe Dante, and I forget which was first. Piranha and Piranha 2, The Spawning.
Oh God, I remember those.
The difference, of course, between Piranha 1 and Piranha 2 is that in Piranha 2, they developed wings like flying fish, and so we're not limited to the water.
Oh God.
Wow.
No.
Such a bad movie. I just,
Oh my God.
Wow.
Considering piranhas cannot breathe air.
Well, I mean, neither can flying fish, but that the whole idea was like, oh my gosh, we're not safe on the shore anymore. So
Have you actually ever really seen a flying fish?
not ever.
I have.
The
They're
FSB.
so cool.
Salmon jumping.
The FSB tells stories. He served aboard a destroyer in the Pacific in World War II, and I guess his captain fancied himself a marksman, and would he had the rifle and would shoot the flying fish as they flew.
Yes.
So that was interesting. Well, there was also somebody who served aboard that destroyer who was quite an accomplished diver, springboard diving. So I guess this guy would be off the conning tower or whatever the hell it is, practicing to keep in practice. He did have some interesting stories.
When you said diver, my first thought was scuba.
That's what I immediately tried to clarify. I hope I did.
You did.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just
He did have the occasional good story to tell. Most of the time he was a what's the word thoroughgoing asshole. But the FSB was. But occasionally he did have the good story, and you could sit there and listen to him. Oh, he hated me with a passion. And this is the person everybody else thought was my father.
Yeah. Well, I know what the waters are like in the Pacific, and doing dives off the con tower. Oh my God, he was seriously looking to be shark bit. Seriously, because there are some seriously big sharks in the Pacific.
It just
What a-
reminds me of a stand-up comedy routine where I was like, do you think sharks would be embarrassed if they knew we could see their fins out of the water? I think they'd be good.
You know what amazed me is, I don't know, maybe I'm just a total idiot for thinking of this, but I'm wondering how much attention that he would have attracted from people whose attention he didn't want. And namely,
Yeah.
skin with a certain yellowish cast and everything else. You know?
Right.
What, just from diving off a ship? I'm sure they'd be much more inclined to notice the ship than a guy jumping off it.
Well, that's the point. Yeah, you see
Yeah.
somebody dive. Oh, what's that? Oh, Americans. You know, boom.
Yeah. Well, considering that when he was in the water and the time,
Yeah, I mean, this is
You- you
1943, 1944. Well,
Yeah.
the old man entered the Navy in 43.
Uh-huh. Oh, so he missed the biggest part.
Yes,
Of
he
the
did.
war.
Yes, he did.
Uh-huh.
He got drafted, but this was at
Yeah.
a time when you could pick your service.
Yeah.
Well, he turned 18 in 1943, so
my
blew out the candles, and then there he was in the Pacific. You know?
Yeah. My
But
papa.
it's so hard to imagine that because it's like, given that I've been on this stupid paltry backwater world for 44 years now, thinking about myself with a gun right after high school and
Oh,
potentially
God.
dying, having that much of my life cut off
Yeah,
that
really.
quickly, I can't picture it. I could never do it.
I couldn't have done it.
Yeah, I forget the date that he was inducted. He turned 18 in March of 1943, and I don't think it was much past July that he was in naval basic training.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that they might bring back the draft now?
It's
If
possible.
they do, I don't have to worry about it.
Well, no, but I mean, what I'm hoping, and I realize this is kind of sick and a little bit twisted, but
I know what's coming.
almost hope they do. Because if anything is going to get people freaking outraged and ready to revolt in this country,
Yeah.
forced military service will likely do it.
Yes.
And so, in a way, even though it will cost a lot of innocent lives that I'd rather were not on the line, thank you very much indeed. In a
Right.
way, I almost hope they try to bring back the draft just so people will rise up and say enough is enough.
Right.
That
Well,
would be
I'm
nice.
lucky enough that I wouldn't have to worry about it with tornado.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's not the
Um,
only reason. I mean, you know, if you'll take it as not an insult, you are a little old for a draft.
Yes, I am pretty old for draft, yes. But I was thinking more along the lines of they cannot draft him for two specific reasons. He is mentally
Yeah, that was the first one.
not all
I
there.
was gonna. Yeah.
He is also my only child and the only son in his family.
Yes, and they still have that rule.
Yes. So he would not, and his dad cannot serve anymore. His dad broke his back.
Oof.
Well,
So, and he was
goodness knows.
yeah. So
Goodness knows that between being 44 years old, having had seizures, and let's
Yeah.
face it, female, they're
Yeah.
not going to draft my ass either.
Well,
I
Alanis,
don't know. They were discussing.
Alanis
if
just put
the-
in the side chat that a judge just
Oh, I
ruled
know.
that the women are not exempt.
I know.
Yeah.
I saw that. Although actually I'm not sure, like I'm going to have to see which judge that is, because I was reading another article that basically said, yeah, we're going to keep this limited to men. But the point is that for me at least, being 44 and formerly having seizures, I'm pretty sure I'm out.
Yeah.
You know?
You cannot be drafted after I think the age of 30.
something like that.
That was a little
but I
while
mean,
ago for me.
Yeah, that was quite a
Yeah.
while ago for me. Like I said, I will be 49 in March.
So I actually did get curious how people were chosen for the draft because I never knew. It
Random.
always seemed so weird. Well, yes, random, but I meant specifics. And it turns out from the footage I saw that it was literally like the lottery. They had the ping pong balls and air doohickey.
yes.
I was so amused, but at the same time, they were showing it live. Like, I mean, it was recording, but at the time it was live. And I'm like, how freaking nerve-wracking must that have been? To be watching that on television, wondering if you're about to be fed to the frickin' dragon.
Oh,
You know?
yay. Breaking news. Iran just attacked an American base in Iraq. Oh, joy.
Oh, shit, here it comes.
Yep.
And this was...
I had someone telling me
that
that there is no way World War III is going to be starting, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, bullshit.
Well, as far as what I saw earlier today, I mean, this is where it's all coming to fruition. Tell me I'm full of it, but a certain person started this whole thing.
Trump.
Yes, to get attention directed away from him. And to insulate him.
It's only made it worse because Trump sat there in 2011 and sent a bunch of tweets about how Obama was going to start a war with Iran to avoid, to make sure that he got reelected.
But here's the problem. Nobody's going to care about that one, or at least in his base. Remember now, Trump is God, literally, to these people. And,
or at least his chosen.
Yeah. And, he can do whatever he wants. I mean, he said that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. He was right. And he is, man, when it really, 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 really starts. I mean, it's started, but it hasn't started yet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's responsible.
Yeah. And we have very few allies left that will support us because of him.
Right.
Well, and the thing that drives me a little bit nuts, and I realize there's not a lot that can be done about this, is when there's memes going around saying how Americans think they look around the world, and it's got like Superman, and how they actually are, and then it's got Darth Vader. And I'm like, you do realize that some of us realize all of this and don't in any way think that we're Superman around the world and are very, very, very against the shit that inspired this meme. You do know that, right? It's just, I hate being lumped in with the Trumpers just because, I happen to be from the same country. I hate that shit. It's like, I'm not that kind of American. This sort of thing is the reason why there are Americans who go over to like Europe or whatever and very specifically pin a Canadian flag on the back of their backpack so people don't think they're American.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's, oh man, I don't want to be lumped in with the Trumpers.
Yeah.
But unfortunately it happens. The assholes get all the attention and then foist it on the rest of us. Yeah.
Right.
I was so lucky when I was in Canada the last time. Well, many times I've been in Canada, and every time it's happened, even years and years ago, everybody thought I was Canadian, which was fun. It was great because I didn't get branded with the whole American thing.
Right.
But especially now. How handy that would be.
I have such a Midwestern accent, so I have people stop me in Florida and go, "Where do you come from? You have such a weird accent." And I'm like,
how many of them guess Ohio?
A few. Quite a few. Because I used to live at Rickenbacker Air Force Base in Columbus, Ohio.
I was going to say, when I say Ohio, I mean north of Columbus. So, yeah, we have it. Because south of Columbus, God, they sound like they're from Georgia.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and when I was younger, my Pennsylvanian accent was a lot stronger.
Well, you're speaking of a York accent, right? Or a Lancaster
Yeah.
accent? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Most
So,
people can't detect the remnants of the New England accent that I've had like a lot of my life, just because I spent so much time in Seattle, I guess, and lost it. But
mhm.
I don't know where people think I sound like I'm from anymore.
I don't. That would be Mum NATO. That would be me. I'm Tornado Pelt's mum. So I don't know that my voice would be familiar for any reason.
Well, Alanis, how
Very
often
much.
have you been to movie night? Because Mom NATO shows up there.
I've been showing up there off and on for a year.
I must have missed something. Is someone saying this in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
Alanis says, who was the guest that is the dog is the picture. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
refreshing my chat because I think it might be lagged to shit.
Oh, this whole thing's been lagged since the
Yeah.
beginning.
Oh, yeah,
since it
but usually
started.
the chat's not lagged. I mean, because what I'm saying is that Mom NATO was responding to something I couldn't see yet.
Hello. Fun.
So I think the actual text chat might be lagged for me, and I am
Yeah, she can-
refreshing.
Never been to
Okay,
movie
so
night,
now-
so I
so that's-
don't
that's
know
out.
why.
Oh, yeah. Speaking
but-
of, let me. Yeah, I'm doing some stuff.
Yeah,
here.
I wouldn't be. My voice wouldn't be familiar for any other reason than because I've never done anything other than movie night.
Well, I mean,
Non-movie
surely,
Lavender.
Atheist Negro, you've been here before, haven't you? Because I mean, Mom NATO's been on here a lot.
Yeah, quite a bit recently.
Yeah, ever since you started, ever since I had
Movie
you on the
night,
show.
Yeah. Kicked Tornado off his mic and said, "Give it to Mom NATO."
I think that turned into a 10-hour show or some shit
Yes,
like that,
it
didn't
did. Oh my god.
We're going to try to keep that a little shorter today because I'll tell you after that show we had New Year's Eve or New Year's night, I was wrecked for the next couple of days.
Yeah, I had to
I'm
go.
getting
I
too
couldn't
old for
stay
this.
up that long. Oh.
Man, you know what's starting to bug the crap out of me? I mean, yeah, I'm 44 years old, but all my friends are insisting that I feel old. You know, they're like, "Oh, you're 44? Well, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And oh, you complained about something? Well, that's because you're 44." I'm like, dude, stop trying to make me feel elderly. I don't feel elderly, but everyone wants me to be decrepit. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Is it just because you people are starting to feel old? You think I have to join in? What is it? Stop it.
No,
Yeah, I
I
know.
feel the way I do because I was in several auto wrecks. So, you know,
Well,
I
sure,
have,
but
yeah.
they're not
It's
doing
nothing
you
to do with
feel-
my age. I didn't feel this bad until I was in a car wreck.
Okay, but I mean,
So-
I don't feel like a lot of people are. If I complain, oh gosh, my back hurts, and they're like, see, you're getting old. I'm like, no, I slept on a Lego, you bastards. You know,
Why your back hurt? Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, there's an actual reason for it. I'm not falling apart. Something happened to me. Thank you very much. But and it'll be gone the next day. But they're like, nah, you're just no fucking grandma. I'm like, why are you people trying so hard to make me feel elderly? Stop it.
Because they're trolls.
I guess it's really frustrating. I hate it.
What's really weird though is
What are you snacking on, Kate?
Oyster crackers. I'm sorry.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I haven't had an oyster cracker in over a year.
It sounds. You keep popping these things. It's like, what is she eating? It looks so good, making me hungry.
I need a snack. Actually, one thing I heard, and I don't know if it's true, is that if you eat tiny little bits of things throughout the day, it keeps your metabolism going just because
that is true.
It's constantly digesting. And so if you take like a really low calorie snack like these, it will actually make you thin down a bit, even though you're constantly eating.
Yes, because your metabolism stays ramped up, burns more calories, and it's better actually to eat smaller meals and more often than it is to eat a big meal.
That's what I've heard.
Yes, and I really need to do that because I need to lose weight. I'd like to be down.
Veggies.
I'd like to be down to 160. Before the end of the year. And right now I'm at about 220, so I've got a way to go.
Yeah, I have lost 8 pounds in the
Well,
last 3 weeks.
See, I don't want to lose weight. I want to get rid of it because if I lose it, I'll just find it again.
Yeah, it's a problem. Definitely.
I'd rather it stay lost. Thank you.
Oh my! Well, what'll probably end up happening is I may be forced to lose weight because
Yeah.
I mean, if this shit keeps going, I'm probably going to have to keep my food budget down to less than $1 a day just for the medical co-payments.
Yeah.
The fun part here is the problem I'm having now with the co-payments,
Mm-hmm.
and then the nephrologist wants $40 a pop. Now he is a specialist, so he gets 40.
Yeah.
That's 40.
Right.
He knows I can't afford to pay it, but he
Right.
won't hear it. And not only that, he's referring me to a hematologist. Another 40. So basically, I'm not going to say a word to him anymore. I'm just not going to show up.
Right. Well,
And I will not be making the hematologist appointment, and I will not be keeping the nephrologist appointment. It's like I can't. Sorry.
yeah, I'm barely making ends meet at this point, so.
Yeah, that's why poor people can't make sausages. Because they can't. They
Yeah.
can't make both ends. They can't make ends meet.
Oh, actually, no, I have to disagree. I say that poor people make great sausages. You just have to get them when they're young enough. And,
Okay, yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
Oh, Shitsky. But yeah, well, that whole being referred to this person and this person and this person is one of the main reasons that I'm not going to be in Texas this year. But like I say, I'm not crying in my beer necessarily. It's maybe I can at least not go further into debt than I already am.
Yeah.
That's the fun
God.
part about being poor is that you go into debt just to have dinner.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not complaining about me alone. It's all of us here.
Well, I just did my
Whoa.
telephone interview today, right before I had to leave to go to the lab for my food stamps. She asked me 3 questions. She asked me if I still lived at such and such, if it was my primary residence, and if I was if all I had was this set of bills, and so actually technically it was 4, and if this was my only income. And I was like, yeah, except that my homeowner's insurance went from $78 to $118 a month. So it went up $40 a month. So I'm hoping that means my food stamps will get an increase in February.
Don't count on it.
Well,
but...
you know what I think is really funny? Like, I don't know if it's
Eat
different.
the kids first.
Yeah, I saw that from Alanis. It's like, yay!
my God.
Jonathan Swift. Yay! I love that.
Soylent Green.
I don't
yes.
know if it's the same in other states, but when I've been on food stamps and also with my medical care, because it's not Medicare for all yet, they ask you for every source of income, including like, did you get any gifts from parents or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what they don't do is ask your current bank balance.
Oh no, they ask our current bank balance here.
Oh yeah.
Well, they don't. They never asked me that in Seattle, and they've never asked me that here in San Diego. And if they saw my bank balance, they'd probably say, "Screw you! You're getting off the dole, kid."
Yeah, I get asked every time.
Yeah, I have like $1 and something in my bank account at this point.
I mean, the problem I have is I try to have foresight and keep, for example, a month's rent in the bank.
Mm.
So you've got $300 or whatever sitting there, and you're supposed to be poor. You have $300 in the bank, and very snarky manner. It's I put it in the bank at the beginning of the month, and then at the end of the month I take it out and pay the rent before it's due. Shit face.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and but here's the thing: the expectation is that you do not do that. The expectation is you cannot do that. The expectation most of these people have is that you do not know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how little the folks in the government agencies think of us poor people.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of, especially on the right wing, they assume that poor people did it to themselves.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily the way it works. I was not, unlike most of the people in the neighborhood, and I'm not saying this to build myself up in any way, but unlike most of the people in the neighborhood, I was not born poor. I became poor. So I've seen both sides, and I look at me 40 years ago, and as how the hell could that person have been allowed to live? Because I'm going to admit it, I had a very dim view of people in this position when I was in my 20s. Well, I was a Republican when I was in my 20s. Mm-hmm. Yes, I admit it.
Yeah, I won't say I was born a certain economic level because I was adopted, but I'm not really sure where my parents were on the economic ladder when I was little. I assume we were lower middle class, lower class. I don't know. I know that the neighborhood where my parents still live, that we moved to when I was 5, maybe 4.5, something like that. I know that it went from being white trash to upper middle class since we lived there. Like, I guess between first grade and high school, it changed to yuppie town.
Okay.
Yeah, see, my mom has always been upper middle class. She doesn't know what it's really like to have to struggle for anything.
Well, that was the assholes.
Right. But
They've all, not always, but I mean, as long as I've been alive, all I can remember is that they had a business of their own. They bought a house in, I maintain it was 1960. They maintained it was 1959. I'll give them the year. They paid it off before Buzz and Neil landed on the moon.
oh my.
It was a house that cost $22,500 in 1960, and they paid it off in 8 years.
Wow.
So they were not lower class, definitely not.
Right.
Their attitude was lower class, but their income was not. Okay.
Right. Well, and my mom's constantly going, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. And she doesn't get that, there's no money to do this or that. There's no money to pay $60 for somebody to come over and mow my 3/4 of an acre of yard.
See, now I'm learning just how lucky I really am. And it was luck and good fortune that led me to live in Seattle and now San Diego. But I've always lived somewhere with a really good social safety net. I mean, because with my current income being way lower than minimum wage, never mind a livable wage.
Right.
The fact that I am not paying for my medical care in any way has enabled me to build up, I'm not sure I'll call it a nest egg necessarily, but you know how they often say things like a lot of Americans couldn't afford a $1,000 medical emergency if they had to?
I can't.
I couldn't.
I could pay off several out of pocket right now simply because while my income is low, my expenses are even lower.
Right.
I mean,
And
okay,
so I come out ahead every month.
I'm not trying to be a bitch here when I say it, but for example, your residential situation. God, you're lucky.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yes, I am.
were it the
You
case that I
see,
didn't have to pay rent, I wouldn't be that bad off either. Um,
right.
I'm receiving on a monthly basis right now what I got in a paycheck in 1980.
Right. We receive $783 a month, and that's what we live on.
Hi, Star.
Well,
And that
I'm
pays just barely at this point all of our household bills, with about $40 to $60 left over to buy things like cat food, dog food, kitty litter, toilet paper, laundry detergent, shampoo. I've got to find a way to spend less than $30 on food for the animals, and then 25 or whatever for the basic necessities to keep us clean.
Mm-hmm.
And it barely makes it.
I could not
well, I
make
mean,
it on what you're receiving, and I know people are going to tell me that's my fault, and perhaps some of it is, but no, on $800, I couldn't make it.
Yeah. Well, I get.
I don't know where I would be if my
Mhm.
parents hadn't made some very like shrewd investments a couple of years ago. Because if they were making now what they were making when they were like when we first moved to South Burlington,
Mhm.
adjusted for inflation, I don't think I would have the condo I have that they gave me.
Mhm. But it's like.
So it was just the like because I my parents were not rich when they adopted me in any way, shape, or
Mhm.
form. But they made some shrewd investments, and I realized that my benefiting from those
Mhm.
is I mean, there's times where I think, yeah, I kind of am a trust fund baby now.
Well.
And it feels weird because I've often looked down on people who like ride on their parents' coattails
Mhm.
like that. But at the same time, it's really helped my ass. I mean, they're not
Mm-hmm.
buying me a freaking Porsche or nothing, but I
Mhm.
do have a place to live, a roof over my head, and that
Right.
really
I
enables.
envy you that. I really do.
You see, my
Yeah.
mom gave me the house I'm currently living in. But then again, the house that I was buying from her was a mobile home. I paid her $18,000 for it over a period of 5 years, and it got taken in the divorce between her and my stepdad. So technically, she didn't really give me this house. She turned around and said, okay, you invested $18,000 and lost it. So I'm going to transfer that house credit to this house and just say the rest is paid off.
Okay.
Oh, that's not the whole thing. Darn it. There is a Bloom County comic where it's like there's this guy in a bar
Hmm.
and he's talking about like all this money he made, and he's like, but I'm Mr. All Natural Hemp Fibers and all this stuff, and now I'm making all this extra money off of Bush's tax cuts. What's a liberal to do? Where he's like freaking out about how he is like he doesn't want to be in this position where he's sort of having being right wing forced upon him, and I kind of relate to that now.
Hmm.
Here he goes. It's like the whole thing started when I bumped into Jackie at the carrot juice counter during a Save the World's benefit picnic. She said I ought to write that book we discussed back at Berkeley in '68. So I said, what the heck, and borrowed an old Smith Corona from Abby at the World Hunger Council, scraped a few bucks together, and published that dear little baby myself. I titled it The American Rich, Forgotten Financial Fascists. It went through 22 printings. I netted over $250,000. Today, my accountant ran up to me and gave me a hug and said, "Congratulations, Larry. You saved $91,000 last year with Reagan's tax cut. What's a liberal to do?" And Opus is like, "Hit me again and put it on that guy's tab." And
Yeah,
honestly,
really.
like knowing that my parents would probably relate to that guy. Like they weren't at Woodstock, but they would have been if they could have.
Yeah.
You know, and now they own a whole bunch of real estate, and it's just like, yeah. Now, I mean, they've told me, look, when in their will, basically when they die, about half of what they've made is going to charity, and a whole bunch of it is going to some friends of theirs for this, that, or the other thing, and then the rest goes into a trust fund for me. So it's not like they have gone all right wing on us, you know?
Right.
But at the same time, I'm sure that some of this goes through their heads from time to time.
Right. Well, it's like my mom has already rewritten her life insurance policies so that Tornado and I are her primary beneficiaries.
Okay,
We
then.
get, well, keep in mind, it's going to piss off my brother and sister, but they're out of luck because I spent the 5 years that I was buying that house waiting on my mom hand and foot whenever she needed something. So I'm the only kid who talked to her during her entire divorce. And so, yeah.
It's I'm not complaining that those two disowned me.
Yeah.
There's a
Sometimes
lot
that's
that I
always a better
didn't
thing.
have to deal with and don't
Yeah.
have to deal with. What I'm hoping for,
Mhm.
and okay, this is where the bitch comes out occasionally. The cousins were all over those two. Oh,
Uh-huh.
Aunt Lil and Uncle Ed, oh, we love you so much, and they would come by and visit, and it would be all so nice and everything else. And what I'm hoping is that they were doing that for whatever they thought they were going to get when those two croaked, and I'm hoping that there was nothing to give them. I
Right.
know that she died in a nursing home. Don't ask me what it was doing in the Toledo Blade, but there was a notice in there about her death. And I remember, at least, she was in Cleveland. Why is it reported in Toledo? I have no fucking idea. But having died in a nursing home, I'm pretty sure I know what happened to the house that those two were living in. Now, my brother-in-law got the other house. I know that. The one they bought from my sister. But yeah, the one that I grew up in and all this other stuff, the nursing home got that. I know that much. That was in exchange for whatever time she spent there, and then whatever else she had to pay out to do that.
Yeah.
And I am hoping beyond hope that she died isolated and broken.
And in severe pain.
That wouldn't be a bad thing to add to it. Yeah. Yeah.
When my granny died, they sold the house that she and my pap lived in at auction to pay for a nursing home for him. And he only lived 2 years after she died before he in turn passed away. But I'd go to visit him, and I was the only grandkid out of the three of us that he could actually remember.
Okay,
Which I
then.
always thought
So you
was
were
funny,
significant.
We used to fight like cats and dogs. I mean, just yelling at each other. And oh my God, my granny's like, well, he does it because you're just like him. And he can't stand anyone just like him. But he loves you anyway.
One thing I love to do is when someone like praises a video I make or says they love my channel or something, I love saying to them, why, thank you. Yours will be a painless death. Thank you, my follower.
Yeah. Well, I'd go to the nursing home to visit him, and I could only do it like once every couple of years because it was so difficult, but I got lucky because we were living in New Jersey, so it wasn't so far to travel to Pennsylvania to go to the nursing home. And I'd go to visit him like once every 2 or 3 months, and I'd go through the nursing home and he'd grab my hand and he'd go, to every one of his nursing home friends, be like, "This is my granddaughter Tina. Isn't she pretty?" Like, oh God.
my!
Mm.
Now that's
I
interesting.
did have grandparents who would do the cheek pinching thing.
No, he wouldn't do. He never did the cheek pinching thing. He was very non-touchy. He did not like to be touched. I think it's part of being. He was a veteran, and he could not stand to have anyone touch him, and he couldn't stand to touch people.
Well, okay, I had this one. I don't even know what she was, like a great aunt or something, where
Hi, ADHD
she
girl.
would insist on giving me a kiss every time we met. But the thing is that she had, like, I don't know what it was, Parkinson's or some shit, or she'd had a stroke. So one side of her mouth was and she had like big lipstick on, and she was always doing, "Give me a kiss," and I was like, I'm like 5 and terrified at this thing coming at me with its food hole. I wanted nothing to do with it, but I'm trying to be polite at the same time because these are relatives, and I know they'll flip out if I don't like be polite. But I wanted nothing to do with her, and so, yeah.
Well, it was so embarrassing for him to lead me around and go, "This is my granddaughter. Isn't she so pretty?" And it's like, Pep, you're just like, oh my God. Because it'd be 20 or 30 people that he's introducing me to, and they just saw me 2 months ago, so they knew who I was already.
What I used to get, well, especially from Popcott, and it was the whole Eastern European grandma treatment. I'd come over, "You look so thin, eat!" And I'm like, I'm like 40 pounds overweight. I was never a small kid. Never.
Okay. You ever have the overachieving side of the family where it's like they have 3 kids and all of them are either going to college early or running marathons or working for the government and doing this, that, and the other thing. And it's and I'm sitting there going, yeah, I make pretty pictures with my computer.
Yeah.
It can kind of make you feel really small.
Yeah.
Well, especially
like, look at this. I'm this close to entering the space program, getting my 8th PhD, and I'm a Nobel Prize candidate. And it's like, you know what? I kind of want you dead right now.
Yes, that would be my current brother-in-laws, Randy and Sloan.
Well,
love them to death, but one's a lawyer and one's a real estate agent.
What I'm hoping is that they do not treat you like something radioactive or look down on you for being who and what you are. I mean, you drew the pretty pictures and everything.
Yeah.
It'd almost be better if they did. The indifference is actually kind of worse. It's like, so what do you do? I make YouTube videos. Oh, okay.
Well, Randy and Sloan aren't like that. I can say that. But they think nothing of sending out, having 2 pizzas delivered that cost $75 just to have them delivered.
Ugh.
Well, it was those 3-pound pizzas, from Giordano's. Yeah, but they think they took us out to dinner and lunch one day, and they spent almost between lunch and dinner $250, and they thought nothing of it.
Maybe and it probably is just me. I actually don't mind if people throw their wealth at me. I'm okay.
Well, I know, but it's just like
no, let me finish. It's when they've accomplished more that I start to feel smaller. It's when it's like, here's all this amazing stuff we're doing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still working on maybe doing something amazing someday. I hope. Like maybe this animation I'm working on right now will take off, and the next thing I know, I'm the next George Lucas. Who knows? But at the same time, it's just like, well, what have I really done
Yeah.
compared to all that other shit. Like, hey, if you want to throw gifts and food my way, and hell, just money itself, I am all about it. I have no shame.
Let
But
me-
when you start telling me about the really amazing shit you've done, all of a sudden I feel small.
No,
Yeah.
wait. Here's the whole thing. You know, let me count the ways. If there's anything you'll do is you'll get people thinking. It's no small thing to put out your content. It's for one, it's not throwing shit off a tower and watching it break.
True.
Right.
You know, I mean,
True.
there's
but
actually
how
something
much more
behind it.
successful are those assholes than I am? You know what I mean?
Well, that's
It's like there are times I want to start like a guys getting hit in the nuts and cats jumping into hedges channel just for the money.
I mean, this is what pisses me off about the audience they get. This is what pisses me off about the society we're in, where thinking is not prized. As a matter of fact, thinking is held in disdain.
Oh,
These
don't
days,
get me
yeah.
started. You know, it's the whole nerds thing where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so maybe
So I'm a
I
nice tasty
have
candy.
bad vision and wasn't athletic, but I could totally kick your ass at a game of I don't even know what. Fill in the because I was never
Trivia.
a chess player, but I'm pretty good at Go.
I'm pretty good at
Oh
trivia.
my! I haven't
Yeah.
played Go in years.
Oh, I love it. There, there's
Oh, so
actually,
do
and
I.
I don't know if it's still there, but I used to go to a Go center in Seattle. Someone had just gotten this big, huge loft on the second floor of an office building, and it was just full of Go sets on tables, and you could just go up there and get into a game anytime you liked. I loved it.
I have a question.
my.
Is Go like Chinese checkers?
No.
It's more like what is that game?
Well-
Otello?
Oh yeah,
I've
yeah, yeah,
never heard of
yeah. It's more like that. Yes.
Well, I know that I think Go has like 8 different player slots, I think it is, I guess, or something
No,
like
it's a
that.
two-player game. Go is a
two player.
two-player.
Okay,
Yeah,
then I'm
it's the one
thinking
with
of
the black and
Shoji.
white stones and the grid
Yeah.
board.
Yeah,
that one.
okay.
Yeah.
It's a big form of chess in a
No.
way.
No. No.
Okay.
It's
See,
a
I've never played
territory taking game with a lot of strategy. You have to see the whole board and think ahead.
Oh, that's yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Very brain draining.
I cannot think of any other way to describe it than it's very Japanese.
Yes,
Boy,
well, it
is it
is.
ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it is a Japanese game.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but it radiates the culture at
Yes.
you.
Right.
Yes.
Like if you learn to play it and you sit down, you play 1 or 2 games, you go, yeah, this shit's Asian, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, nothing, and I am in no way saying that's a bad thing. Honestly,
Right.
I'm one of those people who thinks that Asian equals cool, but it will give you that vibe the same way certain food and music might.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And Diana, you were talking about your bob cut and food, right?
Yep.
I went to my Granny Wimbeck's at 90 pounds, right?
Okay, so
Came
wait,
back weighing 130 pounds
I was going to say
over
you
a period
walked.
of 3 months.
Oh, it took 3 months.
took 3
I
months.
forget. You walk in the door. Hi, Granny. You're 90 pounds. Later on that day, you walk out. You're 190.
Yeah. Well, we came back on the plane because we spent the summer at my grandma's house, and my Granny Wimbeck's house, and we came back, and my mom's looking at me, and she's tilting her head to the side, like, "Is that my daughter?" And then Gina comes up beside me. Gina could eat and eat and eat and eat and not gain an ounce, so she still weighed. She weighed like 100 pounds. So I was 30 pounds heavier than her by that point.
Oh boy.
And she comes up beside me and she's like, "Oh my God, child, what happened to you? Did you go to a fat farm?" It's like, "Oh my God, Mom. No, it's just Granny's good cooking."
I'll be right back. I gotta feed the cat.
Okay. So
Sounds like
yeah,
somebody's getting
she
insistent.
just was just like, could not believe that I had gained 40 pounds
Oh, it's
over the summer. But
Oh,
then again, I
it
was
took
also
that
hitting
long.
puberty. Yeah, I was
Well,
hitting
that
puberty
too.
though
Yeah.
too. So yeah, I went from nothing to a 38 double D, but in sixth
Well,
grade.
okay, that's 30 pounds right there.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. 15 pounds each.
Yeah.
Oh my! Or the other thing that'll put the weight on you: quit smoking.
Mm.
It
Yep.
40 pounds within, I forget, it was 3 months or something like that. It was like wham. And
Well, my mom needs to quit smoking, right? And she's
okay.
117 pounds. And the doctor keeps telling her, you've got to quit smoking. And she's like, I got to gain weight. And I keep telling her, Mom, quit
Quit
smoking and you'll gain
smoking.
weight.
Yeah. I mean, give it 3 months and she'll be at like 160 or something like that.
Well, she can't use the Chantix stuff. She actually has sensitivity to a lot of the stuff in the nicotine gums and pills and stuff. And she took Chantix and it put her in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not
So
fun. No.
she has to do it the hard way
Well,
of yeah.
yeah, I'm really not trying to pat myself on the back here, but I did a cold turkey.
Well, that's what she has to do, and
Yeah.
that is one of the hardest things. And kudos to you for managing that.
I are
Well,
back.
Welcome back.
yay! No, that was the
Although
thing,
your
though.
camera's frozen.
I mean, for a number of, let me have the look at the thing here. Camera frozen. I'm trying to
Amiga
figure out.
nuts. You want to talk about bottomless pit, kid? You should have met me when I was a teenager. Holy crap!
Oh yes,
Yeah, the
she. Go on, Diana.
oh man, I'm trying to remember what the heck. What was it we were just talking? Oh, the smoking thing. It
Yeah.
was. I won't say too much, but there was one of the reasons. There were many reasons, but it was basically It's time. I mean, I had smoked for 49 years. That's 4-9er. And the thing is, I never knew that I could do it. I tried many times in the past, just cutting down and everything else. It didn't work. It had to be cold turkey. And I still get the cravings, but it's basically Clarion. When you quit, you said, I don't want to smoke anymore. And you meant it.
Right.
So you never tried that little thing that tells you, like, it goes beep, you can smoke now, and then it extends the
No, I put it down. It was the 5th of August, 2018, and I said, "It's time." And
Right.
I don't. I'm not going to say I haven't wanted. Oh God, when I'm under stress,
My mom
and
is.
I can feel myself reaching for the pipe or reaching for a cigar. And it's like, hey, bitch, you said you didn't want to do this anymore, remember?
My
Man,
mom is
I'm
going
trying to think
on.
if I have any habits like that. Maybe chewing my nails, I guess. I've never not chewed my nails.
My mom is going on, or she just turned 68, and she's been smoking since she was 13.
Eek.
Yeah. Well,
Does she have that gravelly voice to go with it?
No.
Well,
No.
that was one of the reasons that I decided it was time, because I was sounding like Kenny Rogers with an extra helping of gravel.
But she was diagnosed a couple years ago with COPD, and now it's because she still smokes, it's turned to emphysema.
Man, emphysema's pretty bad, although eventually it'll get to NONP physema, and that's even worse.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll just be over here.
Well, my biggest concern is that she's going to end up like my Aunt Linda, who had not only emphysema, but stage 4 lung cancer.
Well,
And
that's what killed my friend Deb.
yeah, they couldn't do anything for my Aunt Linda, and she was on oxygen 24/7. She couldn't even move through her house. She was without being on oxygen.
And
So,
I've seen people do that with they're wheeling a little scuba
Mhm.
cylinder behind them in a
Yes.
cart.
yeah, and my mom has to have oxygen when she goes to sleep because she has sleep apnea.
Ugh, foo.
There's an
And her,
apnea for that.
yeah, exactly. And you know, so I have always told her, Mom, you need to quit smoking. You did it once, and then you went through a divorce and picked it back up again. You can do it again. And she told me that once she finished her last divorce, that once she finished the divorce, she was going to quit smoking. And of course, that didn't happen.
But what's really nice is I'll go to YouTube and play a CSNY video and sing along to it, and that's when I remember how nice it is that I don't smoke anymore. Because no,
Yeah.
I'm not in Neil Young territory, but I'm at least Stephen Stills.
Mm-hmm.
I got my singing range back.
Yep.
It's just too bad I don't look the part anymore, you know.
You
But
know what I
I'm
actually
not
kind of
gonna
miss?
I'm not gonna detransition because you know it's
Well,
I'm a trained bass baritone, and you know
oh.
when you
Mm.
got this going over here, this doesn't
Yeah.
sound so right, you
Oh.
know.
Well, you know, one thing I kind of miss, this was years and years ago. There was this one dude on YouTube, went by All Babies Are Atheists. Good
Mm.
friend of mine. And every now and then he would host karaoke nights on Blog TV, back when Blog TV was a thing. And I kind of miss that. It was fun.
Okay, then
Because I
sounds
mean,
like yeah.
my singing range is limited, but within that range, I can do quite well.
I'm hearing a lower end soprano as you're speaking.
Nah, we got me some alto going on.
Okay, okay.
I was when I was younger before my junior year of high school, I was a first soprano. After my junior year of high school, I was a second soprano. Don't ask me why it changed, but it did.
Okay, because I was in I was in grade school. Let's see, I think it was third grade. You know, I was an alto. You know,
Mhm.
I'd done a little auditioning for the church choir and all that shit.
Mhm.
That's let's see, that's 8 years old. By the time I'm 9, baritone.
Mm.
Well, I've told this
Right.
story many times. I think I've told it more than once while you guys were around, right? That I got thrown out of class out of sixth grade
Mm.
because
Be more specific.
okay, yeah, no, this was the time for confirmation at the Catholic school, and
Okay.
we were going through the prep for all that, and one of the things we had to do was learn this little bullshit hymn to sing
Mhm.
during the ceremony about
Oh boy.
strengthen, oh God. What? So all the kids strengthen, oh God, right? This one
Mhm.
who doesn't know any better,
Mhm.
strengthen, oh God. 10 years old, and I'm doing
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
They called me a troublemaker and threw me out. I was
Well,
out in the hall with the spitball throwers.
well, I mean, what? Like they thought you were doing it on purpose?
Yeah, basically, they thought I was doing it for
That's
attention
so
or to
fucked
cause
up.
trouble or
No.
whatever. Well, remember these are
What
penguins.
assholes?
Well,
Well, yeah, they
yeah.
were
You
Ursuline
know,
nuns. You know, what do you want?
in like the last 10 years, I think with my own eyes, not on a screen, I've seen maybe 2 nuns total. I mean, they used to be around
Okay.
more. What happened to nuns?
What virginal assholes?
um, well, I'd like to be able to say there are none of them left. Unfortunately, there still are.
They all turned into
Yeah.
penguins.
Well, I mean, I heard actually at some point nuns were allowed to start wearing civvies instead of the
Yes.
penguin outfit.
I was going to say,
Yes.
that was back around early 70s, 70, 72, something like that.
They still have to wear the collar, though.
Okay, yeah. I mean, some way to identify you as, well, I mean, they don't consider nuns real clerics, but, they, sort of, what do they call, what's that girls group that goes along with the Masons? Bluebirds?
No, Eastern Star.
Oh, okay. Eastern Star clerics.
And
is
Job's
what-
daughters.
Yeah, okay.
Can you tell I had a Mason in the family?
No.
Masons and Shriners.
Oh, like Carlin would say, during the parades and everything. I'd say, yeah, drink up, Shriners,
Yeah. See,
For a very long time, I didn't even know what those were. Like all those different groups, like the Shriners, the Rotary Club, and the Elks, and all those guys, the Lions, all that shit.
It was
I
a
never
bunch
really
of-
understood it. I still don't. It seems like fraternities for aging guys.
Yeah, I was about to say
Uh-huh.
something to that effect. You sit around and drink and remember the old days.
Yeah. Well, the Masons were stonemasons originally.
Yes.
Oh yeah, hence
And
the name.
the Masonic temples were built by the Masons, and the Shriners, they go hand in hand with the Masons.
Well, that's Shrine Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
and-
vast
and-
majority of what I know about the Masons comes from that one Monty Python sketch with the building.
Mhm.
You know, the slaughter. Well, I mainly designed slaughterhouses. That one.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
When he's trying to like apply to be a Mason. That's everything I know about them is from that sketch.
Well, it's goes hand in hand with the Knights Templars and all that. And
Which is one of the reasons that the Catholics hate the Masons, even to this
yes,
day.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I had one Uncle Art, who was a Mason, and then Uncle Bob, who was a Shriner, who would do. I know, it was funny. Uncle Bob would come out in his little car with his little fez on with the tassel, and he'd do the parades every Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving, down in the street in the little cars, was zipping in and out of each other. It was fun because he'd sometimes sit us on the hood of the car and let us ride with them.
I had forgotten all about the fez.
Do they like go somewhere to have those cars custom made? Is there a
Yes.
Shriner car factory? How does that work?
I don't know, but the cars are very unique and very specific.
I think they
Well,
have
in that
something.
case, like if I ever wanted to, like if there was even the possibility of being a Shriner, I would demand a tiny DeLorean.
There you go. I'm
Or
thinking.
the 18 van.
I'm
I
thinking
don't
that
know.
what they have
I'd
going.
wanna-
They have sort of like the SCA, where you
I
have
would
the
want-
guys in the SCA who do the armor. That I
Yeah,
think
but
that
they
the
do the
Shriners
cars.
have that too.
I would very much like to go to an SCA event dressed in complete Star Wars gear. And if someone bitches at me, I will tell them Star Wars took place a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
It's an anachronism, so don't get on my case. Although also the name Society for Creative Anachronism also bugs me because you know what? The future is an anachronism too.
Yes.
So if I want to dress up like some sort of space cadet, don't bitch at me. You should call yourselves like the we like old shit when electricity didn't exist and we didn't have proper medicine and everyone died. The Plague Society is what you should call yourselves.
Yeah. You notice that all these SCA people do the playing the royalty. Nobody ever plays a peasant.
No.
I
There's
was
serving
away.
wenches. There's plenty of serving wenches.
I was a serving witch.
But have they
And
had all their
blacksmiths.
teeth pulled?
Well, no.
No, I had a wench's card, as they call it. And basically, you get a card that says you're a wench, you're a serving wench. And of course, it was funny because I'd wear a corset and a bustier, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd be walking along. I'm a 38 double D, and you got a corset on. It shoves you up, and we'd have guys going, "Oh wow, I could rest my beer on that."
I knew someone would say something like that. That's
Yep.
the stereotype. That's the
Yes.
usual.
Oh yes. It
But
just yeah.
I don't know. But I'd rather not go to an SCA event. I'd rather go to like like a medieval LARP, you know.
Mhm.
So at least you can hit
Okay.
someone with a boffer sword or something.
Yeah. Well, I
No?
thought it was funny where they'd stare at me and walk into posts.
I'll tell you though, I don't
At
know.
that point, I weighed 135 pounds from working out, and I was a 38 double D.
Yikes.
So okay, there
Yeah.
was
there
100
was
pounds
a
of you, and
personal
then
ad.
35 pounds of tits. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
There's this personal ad going around on Twitter that I saw where like some dude's specifications for what he was after
Oh
were so
no.
crazy. There was one. He was like, "Look, must be petite, 5 foot to 5'9", 140 pounds." And I'm sitting here trying to picture a 5'9", 140-pound woman, and I'm like, eh.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I was 5'3" and 135 pounds, so it was curvy.
But I mean, it's just that's anorexia, bulimia stuff going on
Yes,
here.
yes, yes.
I was Playboy bunny mode.
So, man, I hope I can find that ad because all the others were just crazy. He had all these like different races he would cheerfully date, but no black women was part of it. It's like, you know, no, it was crazy though. It was like European, Middle Eastern, Asian, but not African was his thing. And there were all these others like no kids, cannot have male friends, and all this. It was crazy.
Oh, what? Threatened?
And I mean,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it had to have been a joke. There was no way that could be real. All of that.
Oh no. Oh yes.
I don't know.
Oh no, that was real. That was real.
It was real. I had a friend who was in a relationship like that, and she could not have any male friends. She could not go out drinking. She had to stay at home and just wait on him.
Well, okay, another one of the criteria on there though was you will be subjected to weekly lie detector tests until I trust you.
Oh no,
Which will be never.
That's true. Mhm.
Well, but I mean,
yeah.
This
People
sounds
like
to me
that.
like someone who seriously wants to be alone the rest of his life.
Oh
Now, it's really amazing how many are, you know, that they have that whole threatened thing going on if you have a male friend. Well, the friend I mentioned earlier who died of lung cancer, Deb, if her husband had been beefier, he would have been the kind to have decked me. Oh, God, was he ever... I was a threat. I was a big threat. He was worried that she was going to run off with me, and it's like, she's crazy. You can have her. You know, I loved her dearly, but no, it's
no. Anybody who considers me a threat was like, "Oh, you're such a little thing. You can't hurt me." Then I nail him in the balls with my foot.
There you go. No, I got the picture of how much of a threat he thought I was. When Deb and I are sitting in the living room talking, all this other sort of thing, and I hear this clanking going on out on the porch. And what the fuck? He's throwing the I Ching. He needs to know what to do.
He's throwing the what?
Are you
etchings?
I Ching. Are you familiar with that? It's a Chinese fortune telling thing. It's usually done with pickup sticks, but he had coins that serve the same purpose.
Oh,
I thought it was tiles.
Okay.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I swear there's Chinese fortune telling with tiles.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I think that was the same thing, only his version was aluminum coins, because it definitely sounded like aluminum hitting the table.
So in other words, he was fucking nuts.
Oh yeah, absolutely crazy, totally. He would have done really well hanging around with Nick Davies, Phuket word.
Okay.
Um, and the thing is, he and Deb were made for each other. Okay, they were both wacky.
Okay, I
Sounds like
found it.
Okay.
I found it. Let's see. It starts at the top. No head games or bullshit. Single white male, 50, seeking single white Asian, Hispanic, European, or Mideastern female, legal age to 30, to be my wife and have my children. Prefer a brunette or redhead. Petite, under 140 pounds. 5'9" to 5', or 5 foot to 5'9" tall. No drug addicts. No whores. No sluts. In parentheses, my idea of a slut is any woman by the age of 30 who has had more than 5 sexual partners. I will not have any female who has had sexual relations with a black person, no exceptions, preferably a virgin. She will stay by my side at home even when I am at work. If she wishes to work, she can do so from home or by my side. If she wishes to go out, she will do so with me by her side. I will not put up with a so-called girls' night out where she can fuck around on me. She will have to earn my trust. She will only have female friends. She will have no male friends. I will not tolerate being lied to or cheated on. By the way, lied is misspelled, L-E-I-D. She will be given a lie detector test every 6 months till she earns my trust. She will do as asked when asked. She can reach me at wifehunter31@gmail.com.
Jesus fucking Christ. The first thing that came to my mind as you're reading this off, so she can only have female friends, like you or me. Yeah, it's like, there are lesbians out
Well, that's
there.
why
You do
he
know
said.
that, right?
That's why he said there will be no girls' night out.
You don't
Well,
need a
that's
girls'
not
night
really
out
what
to
it
engage in a steamy lesbian
I
affair.
know. I know that, but
Yeah, I don't think that the guy writing this even considered the possibility that he might have a lesbian or bi chick. I don't think it crossed his mind.
Did he have a mind to cross?
Wow.
I mean, really?
No. Well,
And
he
the
certainly
thing that
doesn't
gets
have
me
a
is there are
dick to
women.
cross.
There are women who at least claim to want something like that.
Not me. Oh, fuck that
is
shit.
No,
scary.
you're
Like
you're
those,
you're
what are
almost
the names?
sane, okay?
Girl Defined. You know the channel Girl
Oh
Defined?
Lord!
Because their entire thing is how to be submissive to your man.
Oh, fuck that shit.
Well, that's Lori, whatever her name is, as well, or is transformed wife? That's it.
Oh my
She's
God.
another one like that. It's like, would somebody please set fire to her before she does any more damage? God.
I'm sorry. I am never going to be submissive. Never.
Yeah, I
That's
get the
just
feeling. Yeah, it's like
stupid.
I got that derrota.
That's just asking to be walked over like you're trash.
Yeah,
At the most basic of levels. And from there on up, it goes into abusive behavior.
and
Not
the
gonna
whole
happen.
thing is, I look back. I wasn't quite the kind of person who would have run off with this guy. But unfortunately, I dealt with 11 years of shit because I didn't think I was worth any better.
Yep. Been there, done that. Never gonna do it again.
I mean, it's one of the
I
it's
just-
one
I
of the
just
reasons.
need- I just need to get over my taste for horrible people. It's my taste in significant others is horrible, and I need people to tell me no when I find someone attractive.
Well, I
Well,
have.
okay, so maybe that's something then that I can be happy about or something. You know, you're not falling all over yourself to get to me, therefore I must be fairly decent.
Seriously though, I mean, like the last couple of girlfriends I've had, I've described them junkies, sometimes completely ungrateful, and I
Mm,
need to stop like throwing
Mhm.
myself at that type, even if I do like the visual style. Their presentation tends to float
Mhm.
my ducky, and I, you know,
Quack
well,
quack.
ugh.
that's the thing. It's I'm not trying to make myself sound like anything, but I was never about the presentation really, and
Mm.
maybe that was kind of
Personality.
advantageous. Per- that intellectual capability.
Well,
Um,
and see, for me, I have reached a point where, sad as it is to say, I have no desire to be romantically involved with anybody.
okay then.
I
I
tornado
almost
is
get it. I almost
uh,
get it.
tornadoes um a stressor. He will always be
Agreed.
with
Agreed.
me.
Okay. I mean, I love him dearly, but I can imagine how he would be just a
Mhm.
bag full of stress. Yes.
And by the time I'm done dealing with his issues, by the end of the day, I have the emotional capacity of a fucking teaspoon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm worn out, I'm tired, I have no tolerance for petty bullshit anymore. I don't.
And then, of course, you know,
And
my problem, and well, I have many problems, and I think there are those who tell me, yeah, and I can think of a few more, but my thing isn't so much my thing is the rose covered trellis thing. There
Mm.
is this vision of the perfect romance that's all Hallmark written all over it. I've described some of it. Um, the planning the day's activities over breakfast,
oh
the
god.
green meadows, sitting in the grass and
Ugh.
just enjoying each other's company, and all that unrealistic stuff. And I know how unrealistic it
Mhm.
is. And I'm never going to find anything like that. And who the hell would look for it in me in the first place? But and then the other thing is, as I said before, the intellectual capability. There's only one
Mhm.
person I knew. God, I still love her. She could leave me in the intellectual dust, and I loved it. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, I've said, so many other times, one of the things I look for is someone with an intellectual capacity equal to or greater than my own, and that's virtually
Mhm.
impossible to find. Blow my own
Mhm.
horn. I'll do it.
Yeah, I don't even know what my taste in women is anymore, or any romance I would look for, if any. I don't know. There are so many times where if I overthink things and deconstruct them too much, I suddenly realize, why would anyone really even want that necessarily? But then I remember times when I wanted it myself. It's not rational. I have to admit that I'm not always rational. Not everything people do is rational.
Oh, right,
And it's not,
absolutely.
but I mean, the thing is, the really hard part is realizing that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
after immersing myself in the skeptic community for more than a
Mhm.
decade now, and how prized it is to be logical and all of
Mhm.
that, I forget
Vulcans.
that it's not required in all things.
Mhm.
And that's something
Well,
I have to keep reminding myself is, no, it's okay to react emotionally to some
mhm.
things. You're not a Vulcan, you're not a robot. Just, make sure that you don't go off the rails with it.
Okay. Yeah,
You know.
there is that capacity here for the emotional, that sort of thing. I'd hate to be totally logical, but sometimes I wish I were,
Hmm.
because emotions hurt.
I would be happier.
Or they can be pretty freaking awesome. I've had times where I've been so, gosh, I don't even have a word for it because it's not just happy. Maybe I've achieved something awesome, and maybe I didn't even realize how awesome it was, and then someone like totally praises me for it, and I'm just like, man, maybe I do rock, you know?
Mhm.
Well, yes, you do rock. Okay, and
well,
and you're
it's
going to tell
easy
me
to
I'm
not think
biased,
so.
but yes, you do. I mean, seriously.
It is. Come on, everyone knows how easy it is to not think you're awesome.
Oh yes.
You know, to
Oh,
underestimate
absolutely. Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, but when it's right up in my face and I can't ignore it, you can
Mhm.
ride that high for at least an hour or three. So I mean, emotions aren't all bad.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well,
Jeff would ride me for the self-deprecation and that sort of thing.
you
And
shouldn't do
Well,
that.
I like self-deprecating humor. I'm just not any good at it.
And see, for me, I would be happy with just a roommate. I don't want. I want someone that I can sit next to and cuddle with. I don't want all of the romance.
Mhm.
I'm
Oh, I
at a
know exactly what
stage
you mean.
where I just want somebody to sit and snuggle with, to cuddle with, and just be there.
Yeah,
I
there's times I'm fairly convinced I might be an ace myself.
well,
I feel much like you do, where it's like I just want someone to cuddle with and be a companion with, and if we
mhm,
never bumped uglies, that'd be
I
fine.
would be completely happy with that. I have Bob for that if I need to bump uglies with anything.
well, I'm
Mm.
getting more like that as the time goes
Well,
on. I mean, there was a time in which I was totally sex-driven.
well,
Well,
and
I've said
see,
it before. I ruined a marriage that way.
mhm, well,
But
for me, it was, I realized after I got my divorce and separated from my husband, that you know, I just don't want to deal with the emotional hassles of having a boyfriend. They're
Mm.
stressful, they're too much work. Most of them are too high maintenance as far as their own self-interests, and I got tired of being treated like a blow-up doll
oh yeah, oh yeah.
because he'd take me out to dinner and we'd come back to the house and he'd be like, "Can we have sex now?"
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we? Yeah.
Oh no, he'd flat out ask me, "Can we have sex now?" And it's like,
It's like take your
uh,
time. We haven't taken our coats off yet. You know?
well, and the only
For
and
some
see that's
reason,
the
this
thing.
reminds me of one of my favorite jokes. Is what came before the Big Bang? The big
Right.
second date.
Yeah. Well, and see, the
I
thing
love
is
that
that
joke.
the only time he'd come to visit me in the end was because he wanted sex.
It's like,
And he kept
geez, man.
hoping that I would say yes one day. And I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? He was at that. He moved in with me because I wanted to see if it would be any different if he moved in, and he wasn't having to go anywhere else. And it wasn't. He still every night I'd come home from work. Can we have sex tonight? Oh
Well, was that literally what he'd say, or was he just coming on to you left
no,
and right?
that's what he would say.
That is so weird.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is I would tell him because Talon was like Tornado was like 6 or 7 years old at that point. I would ask him, please do not grab my tits or my ass in front of my child.
Oh man.
And he literally came up one time and grabbed my crotch in front of Tornado.
Donald Trump. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I'm like, excuse me, my kid's in the room.
I mean, along similar lines, I have never met any woman ever who likes the honka honka.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, that was a big point in How I Met Your Mother, the show, right? Whereas like Barney always wanted to honka someone, and it was like, yeah, no.
It always made me want to slap him.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Or
Totally.
or knee him in the groin, preferably. But I actually came up to him one day and I was like, you know what? Do you know how much it makes me feel like a blow up doll when you ask me that? And I'm tired of being treated like a blow up doll. Maybe when you stop treating me like a blow up doll, we'll have sex again. And that lasted for about 3 weeks. And then back to, can we have sex now?
Yeah, it's been long enough that I haven't said it, right? It's been at least an hour.
I mean,
exactly.
You can at least like engage in a little bit of foreplay, like work your way up to first base and see what happens.
Instead of actually asking me the question, maybe work your way, be a little gracefully handsy. I'll put it that way. If that makes any sense.
Sure.
I mean, be slick about it. Like, trace a hand up my side. Or while we're sitting on the couch, run your hand slightly up the outside of my leg or on the top of my thigh, but not up my crotch, thank you.
Lick the tip of my nose. No.
Nibble on my earlobe. Yeah, those kind of things. Don't just jump in and say, hey, we're home after having dinner out. Can we have sex? It's like, mood killer.
This is the thing, though. When they ask, can I have sex now? What they, of course, mean is, tab A and slot B. And, when they've come, it's over. And I wouldn't necessarily care if it even got to that point. I mean, to me, sex is all about the foreplay.
Yeah.
Or even the five play or six play, any of that.
Well, see, the first night I
would take a 2-play.
Sex with Tomato's dad, it took us 2 hours to even insert slot into tab. Okay. It was all foreplay. I think, and it was great. Oh my God, I was so ready when he was ready. It was fun. And it only happened one time.
Yeah, that's the
unfortunate thing. Do you guys really think of baseball to not, to
I have no idea. I hadn't heard anyone allude to that in so long. It has to have been at least 50 years since I've heard somebody say, yeah, really.
But it's all over like television and stuff. It's such a trope. It's ubiquitous.
Oh, no wonder I haven't seen it. Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
Although there was one, I'm trying to remember. It might have been a TV show, might have been a movie where a guy said state capitals, listing state capitals in his head instead of baseball. But still, I mean, do guys really think like, oh gosh, it's not time yet. Let me think of, oh yeah, B. Arthur in a Speedo, that kind of thing. To slow things down.
Oh God. That would kill any mood. Oh.
I mean, I'm just wondering, do guys do that?
Back in the boy days, I have no recollection of that.
Okay.
I don't know about the other guys, but I didn't.
Oh, he went to sleep cripple. He was tired.
Oh man, no, it's. Yeah, I have fond memories. Only the one time did it go that long, but other times it was quite a while as well. Yeah, I remember the 14 hours of foreplay. I'm not exaggerating.
Well, I didn't think you were, but it's still a lot.
Boy, I bet you were sore.
But happy. I tell you, that was the interesting thing. Um,
I'm sure
Terry and
it.
I did our best intellectualizing while we were making love. It was
Mhm.
Yeah,
good. Yes,
I'm weirdly tired for 6:30 at night. I
Is
don't
it the
know
only
why. I mean, I
30 year?
I
Wow.
don't, you know what it is actually? I bet it's the 2 Red Bulls I had over the
Probably.
day. They not back to back. They were spread out over the day, but I imagine if you do enough caffeine, you'll be tired by evening.
ooh. Thank you for
Yeah.
reminding me.
Yeah.
Coffee. I've had one glass of soda so far today that I still have about a third of it left. So
To me now.
Hmm.
that's why I'm tired. I haven't had enough caffeine.
I really don't drink soda very much anymore. And when I drink anything like soda,
Mhm.
I'm actually glad it has caffeine in it because it is suppressing my appetite quite a bit, in fact. And so that will help with the whole, because I mean, I'm not
You're
like that.
skinny.
No, 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 no. You don't have any idea. You've never seen me in profile, is the thing. Um,
Okay, sweetheart, I weigh 217 pounds. I don't want to hear it.
okay,
And I'm
well,
5'3". To me, you are skinny.
Well, I suppose I might be, but the fact is that I would like to slim down, to where I thought I looked best.
Hmm. Well,
So,
I could
We were talking
easily
about
slim
that
down if
recently. Yeah.
I could play 3.5 hours of racquetball a day again, but I can't.
mm. Well, I mean, with enough caffeine suppressing my appetite, eating well, properly, and I try to get an hour of aerobic activity in a day with VR sports.
Hmm.
That should have a lasting effect, I imagine.
Hmm.
Well,
Well, I've got
there's
a gazelle in my house that I'm working on using. And the problem is I can't stand for long periods, so by the time I get to going on that thing, I'd have to do a 30 or 40-minute workout to make it worth it.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with my feet, but my entire life I've been unable to just like stay on them. Like I've had retail jobs,
Mhm.
and in every case, like by the time a shift was done, I would be in so much pain.
Mhm.
Like you have no
That's because you're
idea.
not used to it.
No, but I mean, I did this stuff for years. You'd think I'd get
Mhm.
used to it eventually. It's like, I don't know,
Might be your arches or the type of
maybe.
support you've got in your shoes because that will
Well,
do
I've,
it too.
I've tried doing everything I possibly can with shoes to give myself extra support. It doesn't work.
so whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hmm.
You're saying that she needs the feet de triomphe? Is that it?
Yes, the feet de triomphe.
Okay.
Sure.
The Arc de Triomphe
Yes.
Oh,
Oui.
I
in
see.
Paris.
Okay, sure,
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oui.
I have the obscure humor at times, if
Mhm.
you want to call it humor. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You could have nerve issues in your feet. There are certain nerves in your feet that some people have that fire when they stand for too long.
Hmm.
And
I think actually it might just be that like I don't have padding, that the bones are
that
just
might be it
resting
too.
right against the skin. Because I've noticed that when it comes to things like that, I tend to be a smidge deficient. Where it's like I don't heat myself. Like I'm like a lizard. If the air isn't warm, I'm not warm at
Mhm.
all, ever. And I know some people where they just radiate heat like nobody's business. And I wish I could do that.
Mhm.
I don't. So I mean, when it comes to something like feet with no padding, it would not shock me to discover that I qualify in this fashion.
Mhm. Well, I have a pair of earth shoe sandals that I've had for ages that I just absolutely adore that I wear when I use my gazelle. Normally they say wear tennis shoes. I'm like, no.
Use your what now?
wear your tennis shoes.
No, no,
when
no. You said something about using a gazelle?
Okay, it's a non-impact. It's kind of like a ski machine, but it's called a
Okay.
gazelle.
Sure. All right.
That's a brand name, right?
Yeah, that's the brand name. Um,
I
one of
wish
these
I
days
could
I'll
show.
take a picture of it.
Yeah, I wish I could share a picture. And by the way, that was what I had put in the side chat there. I'm trying. I'm out there with the bowl to beg again. I know, but it's all about the hardware for this whole thing, so I can do that among other things. I'm looking up to see how to do that double-headed system with the sharing of the audio. Well, I can try the sharing of the audio now, but I have to wait until I get all the other hardware before I can do the video. It would be so nice because I'd be able to play motion picture clips, and not only would you in the audience see that stuff, but by the time I got through with it, everybody on the panel could enjoy that crap as well. Because I've had more well, Kate, you know, you've been on my shows almost since the beginning. That's
I don't even remember how I found you.
Do you remember the Godless Iowan?
Yeah.
He was responsible for our
Oh.
meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a program he had with Demi and me, Andy Ordinary and me. And 1 month I couldn't make it, so you filled in for me. And then that next month, Demi couldn't make it, so you filled in for her, and the rest is history, basically.
I see. Okay. Well, neat, I guess. Now
Hey,
I
I'm
know.
happy for all of it. I mean, it's what can I tell you?
Yeah. The average airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Would that be an African or European swallow?
Oh,
Yes.
I don't know that. Yeah.
Run away, attack, run away. Ah!
That rabbit's
It's
dynamite.
the Vorpal Bunny.
Yeah.
I wish I could do the monologue, with the sharp pointed teeth.
Right.
Well,
Right.
for that one of the Talon's Tornado's Special Olympics times, they did a skit of the Black Knights. Lumpy Pon's Black Knight skit.
Yeah.
The
It
Black
was
Knight
hysterical.
always triumphs.
You're
It's just a flesh wound. You're bleeding out.
you're a loony.
Come back here and take what's coming to you. I'll bite your legs off.
Got no
God.
arms.
We used to drop into those Monty Python skits at the RGs every time, all the time. And I'd be at say again?
At the whatses?
A regional gathering, Mensa conventions. Yeah.
I see.
I used to go all over the country to these things. One at least, possibly two a month. Shitload of money, man. But this was when you could do everything, hotel included, for $300 for a weekend. That was a while.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, now you're lucky if it's $300 a night.
When I did my vacation to view the total solar eclipse, it cost about $250 a day.
So I have a question.
Yes, dear.
This vacation, was it all you ever wanted?
Yeah, and it was all I was hoping for. Yeah.
Was it time to get away?
Oh, it was amazing, though. It really was. I came into my own over that period because that was the first time, and I mean the first time, I had done anything like that for myself, by myself. I decided, it's around 2015, I want to do this. And took the time, got not all of the money, but got a good bit of the money together and worked out the planning, the itinerary, the whole bit like this, and just you would think that the solar eclipse would have been the high point, but strangely enough, as nice as it wasn't the high point. The high point was the time I spent in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered how much I love that city. It's weird.
Mm.
I do not like large cities, but I love Chicago. Were I able to afford it, I would be living there right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's that kind of feeling you get where the sun is so much brighter and the grass is so much greener and all of that, so much more than it is normally. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that dream sort of thing that it's just, yeah. I wish I could go back.
I know the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
I would go back to Okinawa if I could.
Having never been there, I can only ask what particular thing is it that attracts you? Is it that feeling, or is there something else?
It was the culture.
Okay.
They didn't really like Americans too much, but
Gee, I don't know
you could,
why.
yeah, really. But there were certain areas you could go to where they just absolutely adored the Americans. And getting to see things like Shuri Castle during the Oban Festival and the just the amounts of effort that they put into their festivals and the Cherry Blossom Festival and the Oban Festival and um there was another one that they would do but I can't remember the name of it, and it's just
Do they do they really make the big deal of the I cannot remember the official name, but I'll call it the Dick Festival.
The
I
what
think the
now?
what?
Um it's a celebration of, I think, masculinity, and the
Yes.
penis figures
Hmm.
prominently here.
Yes.
Okay. That amazes me
um
that that a
or they did back in the 90s when I
okay,
was over there.
it amazes me
I
that that
don't know
would
if they
be
still
such a
do.
thing, but I guess it is.
Um, but
Well, I mean, isn't that where the maypole comes from? Is that it's a
mhm,
giant dick?
yeah,
Okay.
and uh, you know, they care a lot about family.
Yes,
Family
yes.
units are seriously important, and just you know, generally that if you're a single woman in on Okinawa, you are not going to have to worry about some of the shit you have to worry about in the States.
Hmm.
You don't
Oh,
have to worry about getting pulled off the streets and having bad things happen to you.
uh-huh.
You know, um,
Yeah, I found the name, by the way, for any of
mhm.
you out there who want to look it up. It appears to be Kanamara Matsuri.
Kanamana Mitsuri.
Um,
Mm.
to find it on Google, Japanese Penis Festival will do
Okay,
nicely
let
to
me
look
see
it
if
up.
I. All right, let me see if I can. Okay.
Hmm. I am
Mm.
starting to have one of those things where the stomach is
Yes,
rumbling and I'll
Kanamara
eat
Matsuri.
something. So I might go soon, just fair warning.
Yeah,
Okay, fair
Kanamara Matsuri.
fair
Yeah, two
warning
words.
taken. I'll miss you horribly, but
Well, you should work on your aim then.
uh,
Yeah, and they still do it.
shut up,
This year
Clarion.
it's April 5th.
My word. You can turn anything into that, can't you?
I'm not. I'm. The amazing thing is, I'm not thinking what I'm thinking. You're thinking. I'm thinking.
Really?
Mhm.
Well, what am
Yeah.
I thinking you're thinking? I'm thinking you're thinking.
Thinking. Somehow thinking.
Just by a few things you've said. No, I'm not thinking all about the physicality. As a matter of fact, very little of it is that. But that's beside the point.
Okay.
Well, I am
Well,
going to go.
but as I say, what are you thinking? I'm thinking you're thinking. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Well, I am going to head off because it is almost 10 o'clock here, and I'm tired and I'm hungry.
Yeah, I just noticed here
Well,
21:52 hours. Yep.
well, it's like almost 7 here, and aside from those oyster crackers, I don't think I've eaten since breakfast.
Oh
So
I
no,
haven't
we've
eaten
got to
yet.
do something about that. No.
I
yeah.
had
We cannot
a
have you
single
dying of
slice.
malnutrition.
I had a single
What
slice of
about
bread
like
today.
say Zoe Nutrition or Jane Nutrition or Wash Nutrition or Kaylee Nutrition or River Nutrition or Simon Nutrition or Shepherd Book Nutrition?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had a single slice of bread today, so I need to actually eat something.
Well, you know what's better is a married slice of bread.
Yes.
A slice of bread that's in a committed relationship is much better
No,
than
because
bread.
it was coated in butter, so it was good.
You remind me. That's something I need to do. I need to buy a bag of potatoes. Because I've got that.
Ooh, fried potatoes and onions.
Oh, well,
God,
that too,
Diane, you
as
just
well
made
as I
me
can.
I
hungry.
do like onions. Onions are good if you cook them right.
Onions is a
I-
food group. Come on.
Oh yeah, I took yesterday. I made spaghetti, and I took 2 small onions and fried them up in butter until they were nice and clear with a hint of gold, and then added them to my spaghetti sauce. Oh, it was so wonderful.
That's the other thing I've got to do. Well, I've
Maybe
already
some spaghetti.
filmed it, so I won't film it again. But my pork neck gravy, the pork neck tomato sauce, I have to make that again. I have the bones in the freezer. They've been
Did your
there
risers work for your table?
beautifully, absolutely wonderfully, and it's just I've got to get that thing set up again. I'm putting it off. I know I am, but I have the pork and sauerkraut that I want to film.
Yeah.
And
Pork and a grumpy German?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
The one nice thing about the pork and sauerkraut is that there will be shitloads of potatoes in there as well. So between the potatoes and the cabbage, with a little bit of the pork as a seasoning, maybe if I do it right, 8 pounds of pork could last me 2 weeks.
You know, I haven't actually cooked my own potatoes
Freeze
in
it.
quite some time, maybe a year. I should do something about that.
There are many
Freeze
ways
it,
to do
Diana.
that. Say again, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cook it up and freeze it.
Yeah.
What as well as trying to I've alluded to this before, as well as trying to lose weight, I need to keep my costs down. And if
I mean, isn't potatoes gonna sort of interfere with that? They're pretty high calorie.
they're not as bad as their reputation. I mean, sure, if you eat shitloads of potatoes, you can run into some problems. But one of the things I have done lately, and I am losing weight slowly, even while I steam the potato and then put some butter on it and eat that. I mean, if 3 potatoes is all I eat all day, I still lose weight. And yeah, it's got to be that way. Unfortunately, it's people look at me. What are you doing? This is malnutrition, etc. No, number one, I have to eat that little in order to lose the weight, and number two, affording it is the whole thing. I just cannot afford to eat the way I used to.
There are some foods that are remarkably cheap. And I don't mean ramen noodles.
I don't think I could have more than 3 days ramen noodles in a row.
Peanut butter and celery.
Well, one thing I've done with ramen that's actually kind of neat, instead of making it into soup like you're supposed to, use it like as the base for stir fry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you're making poor man's yakisoba.
Okay.
You take it.
Where do I find the method you use?
I
You
just
make,
do it. I mean, like okay, what you do is you boil the noodles like they're pasta,
Uh-huh.
and meanwhile, you know, have some like maybe a little bit of meat, maybe some vegetables simmering. And at a certain point, you probably want to throw a little water into the actual pan so you can throw in the seasoning packet. And then when the noodles are ready, dump them in there and just stir fry it all up.
Okay, it is that simple. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
and
I mean, it's very much sort of the soup from a stone method of cooking.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you don't you don't dump all of the water from the noodles in there. You drain the noodles and then dump them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the seasoning packet gets wet, but it doesn't become that thin
No.
broth.
No. Seasoning packet's separate. What you do is you do that into the stir fry pan with or without the noodles. I actually think before the noodles is best because then you can boil off a lot of the water that you use to dissolve the flavor packet. You know, it
Okay,
gets like
yeah.
absorbed into the meat and the vegetables, and then you throw the noodles in there and sort of mix them around until you get some of the sauce on them as well, and serve. And I mean, it's sort of a very kludgy meal, but it's good in its
Mm-hmm.
own
And
way.
And
yeah,
then
and you're not having.
the other thing I'm going to have to try to do is eat nothing but what I can make from scratch. For example, if I'm going to have noodles, make my own noodles the way Babka used to, but maybe I would eat less because it's so much work to do. You know?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like I was gonna, you know, that sauce I showed you at the beginning of the show, or even before when we
Yes.
were still getting ready to start. I mean, I was thinking about making that from scratch, but believe it or not, way more expensive because spices cost out the
Oh,
butt.
don't
I
they?
couldn't wait.
Oh, yeah.
And there were a few things I couldn't find. I mean, it's kind of weird how like here you can get tons of Korean barbecue stuff, but Chinese barbecue, forget about it, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's very frustrating.
And then
But
that's the other thing I'm going to have to do is pick up the basmati rice and see if I couldn't do a better stir fry with that than I do with the absolute crap that you get at the Shop and Save.
basmati is
Yeah.
lovely. You can get like a 2-pound bag for $5 and it'll last you a couple of months if you use it sparingly. Like there was excuse me, there was a time when just for myself I was making like rice stir fries with a half a cup of rice, and that turns out to be way too much.
Oh,
I'm
doesn't it?
making I'm making like less than a quarter cup worth of rice for one meal, and it's plenty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
My thing
So
is,
right.
I like to
Rice
put.
is what's the word deceptive
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't look like all that much until
But it
you
until
put it
you
in
a
the
put
rice
lot.
cooker.
water.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was actually like, okay, it's funny. Someone blamed me of having a first world problem, and I don't think it was. I think of it more as serendipity, where the supermarket was out of basmati, so I bought jasmine instead, which has a different flavor, but it still has
Yeah.
that flavor to it that plain
Mhm.
rice doesn't.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, it's working out pretty well, actually. It wasn't what I wanted, but it turned out to be a lucky happenstance. And someone thought I was still bitching. You know, like all they saw
What?
was the supermarket. I guess all they saw was supermarkets out of basmati. Oh, darn it. And didn't see and yet it worked out for the best anyway.
Well,
I'm
this
like,
is this
it,
is all these
I,
jackarses that don't read the damn thing. They don't go any
ugh,
farther than the title. Yeah.
yeah.
All right,
Well, what
guys.
you gonna do?
I'm going to head off. Good night.
Well, you
Yeah, I
be
think I'm
good
gonna head
and
myself. I'm
Oh,
very
I
stuff
hungry.
and
will.
things, and I
Mhm.
have no idea what I'm talking about. But
Hugs
that's
to you all.
Have fun. Don't get run over. So I'm gonna head out too because very hungry. So
Yeah.
well,
don't.
I am
Yeah.
thanking both of you many much for
Oh,
being here.
I
It's
I always enjoy being on here. It's fun.
Kate has been a staple for God how long, and you're getting
Someday
that
I'm
way.
going to be a paperclip.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you're getting that way, Tina. It's
Oh, good Lord. Yes, although most people, if you call me,
Laters.
you'll really not know who I am. So,
take care, Kate. Be good, okay? Well, or something.
yeah. So, yeah, no. Tornado has decided to go to sleep. So, it's late enough at night that I can make something like he's tired of spaghetti because spaghetti's cheap, it's easy,
Yes, it
it's
is.
quick to make, especially angel
Oh,
hair.
here's
What?
something for you if you'll even look
Huh.
at it and think it's food. Spaghetti
Hmm?
alla carbonara. You know about that
Spaghetti
stuff?
carbonara, yeah. Yeah, he's all spaghettied out, he says.
Oh, okay, because
So
that's
he
something
is
else.
begging for macaroni and cheese on the ninth when my food stamps come in.
I guess that's kind of nice because it's a cheap meal for the crazy.
Well, they have this. It's from Australia. It's called a boomerang pie, and it's a pot pie. And they have one that's pepperoni pizza, and one that's macaroni and cheese, and it's stuffed inside a crust. And it cooks for 5 minutes in the microwave, and he's happy with it. And I will probably get my salads.
Oh, do you get
My
the
my
bags of salad?
I get the pre-mixed salad, sunflower crunch from Winn-Dixie, and it's got
Yeah,
sunflower seeds and a citrusy dressing and bacon bits, and
yeah.
then cabbage and kale and all this greens and carrots and really healthy stuff. And
Oh,
it's a
yeah, I love
big
this
bag,
stuff.
and
Um,
I'll eat on that the entire day,
uh-huh.
and
Um,
that's all I'll have for the day.
the pre-made salads. I
Hmm.
cannot use the individual ingredients before something
Hmm.
starts going bad. But with the
Exactly.
bags, I can get a 12
Yeah.
ounce bag for $1, and
Yeah.
that's my food for the day, and it's great.
Yeah. Yep.
And I haven't done that in a while. I'm gonna have to get maybe about 3 or 4 bags when I go
Yeah.
grocery
I
shopping.
us I usually get 2 to 3 bags depending upon what I'm getting. They also have something called broccoli slaw.
Yes, I've seen it. It's
I love broccoli slaw. That's
it's
good stuff because you
amazing.
can.
It's amazing how long it took somebody to figure out that you can use the stems of the broccoli to make a profit.
Hmm.
I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about coleslaw, it's
Hmm.
sliced cabbage. What is
Yeah.
broccoli but another brassica? It's the same damn thing.
Yeah. Hmm. Yep. And it just I like doing that because those are meals. One bag is a meal,
Hmm.
and it will last me the entire day. And that means I'm not snacking on chips, I'm not snacking on unhealthy stuff. I'm eating
Yeah.
vegetables, and you know, I dread what's going to come up on those hormone levels for vitamin B and stuff because I don't eat enough vegetables. I don't.
Well, same here.
But it's expensive.
Uh,
They're
those are
expensive.
the words that were going to come out of my mouth. I can't afford to eat right.
Hmm. Even
Um,
on food stamps, it is expensive to buy anything other than canned vegetables. And
yes.
canned vegetables are just
Crap.
nasty. They're full of all sorts of bad stuff.
Well, for the longest time, I thought that I hated beans because
Hmm. Well,
all the FSB would put on the table were those can't.
mhm.
Do you are you familiar with the brand name Fresh Like?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, they're beans with the shit boiled out of them. It's like
Uh,
it's worse than
I
boiled
know
spinach
that.
by the time you get through with it.
Okay, my mom may used to make navy beans and ham,
Oh, I love navy
and
beans and ham.
she would soak her beans
Mm-hmm.
overnight,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then she'd cook them for 6 hours. So they were the consistency of mush when you went to chew on them.
Yes, and I still like a little bit of crunch in my beans. I will,
Yeah, she
and
never leaves crunch in her beans.
I intentionally undercook
And
them, and everybody yells at
mhm.
me. You didn't cook them enough. You okay? Don't eat them.
No, beans are not supposed to be to the point where you can sit there and push on them just slightly with your finger and they burst into mush.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's how my mom likes her navy beans and ham. So we would have this huge a stock pot. You know what a stock pot is?
I have I have four of them here.
Right. Well, she would make a big stock pot full of navy beans and ham, and we'd
Oh,
eat on it for a week.
are we talking the 20 quart stock pot? You know the
Yes,
yeah,
the
uh
huge
huh,
ones
yes,
that you'd use for canning.
yes, mm-hmm.
And we would eat on that for a week at a time because it was inexpensive.
Well, that's what happens when I make halushki.
Uh-huh.
Is
But
the largest one I have is a 16 quart, but I'll make
mhm,
one of those, and it's a week's worth of
right.
halushki. And by the time the week is over, it's okay, we're almost done, right?
Yeah.
As much
Well,
as I
my
love
thing was
halushki, I get bored with it after a while.
I couldn't stand the navy beans ham because it was really super bland and
Oh,
it
that's
just
right. You come from a Pennsylvania German background. That's right.
seriously
Yeah.
bland.
Uh huh.
And it was like eating wallpaper paste.
Yeah.
And
Millie
just,
cooked that way. Melody's
yeah,
mother.
foul.
Yeah.
And you know, Tornado gets some of his food sensitivity, or not sensitivity, consistency issues from me because I don't like mush.
Oh, right,
But I
right,
love
right.
but I like cream of wheat. But cream of wheat is supposed to be that way. You know what I mean?
Well, wait.
I
No,
don't
if you do it
like
right, it's not a much. It's sort of a grainy texture, but
right,
it's not sand. But
right,
it does have a consistency to it. Yeah.
right. But my mom's beans were mush.
I Well, that's
I
the
mean,
other thing I hated was the boiled spinach. It was like trying to eat wet toilet paper.
yeah,
Um,
she does that too.
I, I'll
Her
take my.
her
Hmm?
ham and sauerkraut. Is that what it is? Sauerkraut and something.
Are you speaking of what is it called? Schnitt und
No,
Knepp?
she just take cabbage and boil it into sauerkraut, and then put dumplings in it.
Oh, I know this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and her sauerkraut is supposed to have a little bit of consistency. It's supposed to be not necessarily firm and crunchy, but it's supposed to have a little bit of texture.
Yes. Yes.
Hers was like eating string.
Ugh.
Yeah. So my mom can cook some things really well, or her Swiss steak. You ever had Swiss steak?
Not in a hell of a long time.
Uh, you chop up tomatoes and celery and mix it in with stewed tomatoes, and then you cook the steak in it.
Yes. Well,
Um,
any more? Who
her
can afford beef? Not me.
yeah, her steak was always tough as shoe leather.
Oh man.
So
Now to give you an
certain things
idea,
I just can't stand eating from her.
I actually had a T-bone steak last year. That was the
Oh.
first steak I had had in 3 years.
Mhm. I had last year for Mother's Day. Mom took me out, uh, and we went to a place, Colton's, and we ordered
Okay.
T-bones. And the T-bone I had was so tender it melted in my mouth. Tender type when you chewed on it.
I don't cook steaks enough to have
Hmm.
the method quite correct.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Right.
when I did that
My
T-bone, I overcooked it a little bit. And
Yeah,
yeah.
my favorite thing to do is barbecued pork, barbecued
Oh
steaks, pork steaks.
yes.
But I don't have a grill anymore. which really depresses me. My grill, I let my best friend use it, and she didn't set the coals right, so she burned out part of the bottom
Oh, darn.
because she got one part too hot around the legs
Uh-huh.
because she had too much coals going and she didn't spread them out right. And the
Yeah,
heat
they can get
just
touchy. And, well, I
yeah,
haven't owned
and
a
it was a
grill.
Weber grill.
Oh,
It was a
well.
Weber grill, so it was a $60 grill.
Yeah.
So it wasn't expensive grill, but still, it was my grill,
I haven't had a
and she
grill in
destroyed it.
ages.
So I
I
have a
mean,
little table grill now.
okay. I mean, my thing
But
is, had I a grill, where would I keep it? Uh, I had to
mm,
get rid of a whole shitload of stuff because I
yeah,
have no storage space. I have this
right.
apartment at 512 square feet, and that's pretty
Oh,
much
it's
it.
so
And
you don't want to know how much room I have in my house.
okay, is it 3 bedroom? What?
Yeah, it's 3 bedroom, one bath, and a sun porch, carport.
I'd kill for that. I
Uh,
remember
my
you gave me the
yeah,
address, and I saw the Google
yeah,
Maps version of it.
my
Yeah.
bedroom, the bedroom. I don't think it was originally supposed to be a bedroom, but it is 14 feet by 12 feet.
That's about a bedroom size. Yeah.
hmm So, my my queen size bed sits in the middle of the bedroom, and I still have, or in the middle of the back wall, and I still have 5 feet on either side.
I'd kill for that.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just lamenting either yesterday or the day before how much I would like. Um,
because you have like a studio apartment, don't you?
it's actually a 1 bedroom. The
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I can't sleep in the bedroom. It's my library, and there are 800 books
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, I know that feeling.
And
I
I'm
have,
not exaggerating. As a matter of fact, more than 800 books back there.
yeah,
Um, this is where that house I was trying to rehab would have been really,
hmm
really nice. It
yeah,
started life as what I call a millhunky house.
hmm
Um, the person who owned it lived there when it was built in
hmm
1904 or
Oh
1912 or some shit
God.
like that. I mean, when I was trying
hmm
to rehab it, it was a 100-year-old house already.
Yep.
Um, it was a 4 room, two stacked upon two. Each of the rooms was 15 by 15. So, it was almost a
Whew.
1,000 square feet together. Um, the house I was trying to rehab started that way, and then somebody added another half a house to the back of it.
God.
They had turned it into 2 units.
Yeah.
They turned the upstairs into an apartment and the down. I was trying to convert it
Right.
back into a single residence, um, and oh my word, what I was going for was what I called the salon downstairs, which was the
hmm
original 15 by 15 living room. Then the gallery
Right.
behind it, which was the 15 by 15 kitchen, and then behind that, which
hmm
was part of the addition, was the I was turning it into the kitchen, dining area, that sort of thing. And then above,
Right.
you also had the 15 by 15s. One of them was my studio, the other one was the library, one room just for the library, and
Right.
then the 10 by 10 bedroom with the walk in closet.
hmm
Because, okay, what's a bedroom for but fucking and sleeping? Okay,
Right.
that's out of Lady Chatterley's Lover, by the way, in case anybody
Yes.
wonders where the line came from.
hmm
Um, so I didn't need any more than 10 by 10. It was the rest of the house
Yeah.
that I was worried about. Um,
hmm
oh man, but I couldn't get it warm enough fast enough, and there was so much more wrong with it that the owner didn't let on.
Yeah.
Because
Kind of reminds me of my car.
the owner was a slumlord,
Yep. So
and
you probably had leaks in the roof. You
yep,
had holes in the floor,
no,
soft spots,
no holes in the
termite.
no holes in the floor, but there were holes in the siding.
Oh God, even worse. Poor insulation or no
No
insulation.
insulation. And
Yeah,
then when I
that
had the
would do it.
walls out because I was rewiring everything and then insulating everything,
Mm-hmm.
you could see daylight.
Yep.
While you were standing inside, between the clapboards, you could see fucking
Yep.
daylight.
Yep.
And yeah, I couldn't get it warm enough fast enough, and there was so much
Mm.
more that I had to take care of. And
Yeah.
it was the social worker dragged me out of there kicking and screaming.
Yep.
I didn't want to leave. I wanted to finish the job for fuck's sake, because it was going to be it was
Have a
my
house.
idea of the beautiful house, especially with my studio and my library.
Yep.
And I have none of it.
Yep. I know that feeling. I the trailer that I was buying from my mom was my grandmother's trailer. And unfortunately, the tree that they had the house next to had termites.
Ooh.
And so it wasn't in good condition, and a branch fell off of it and broke a skylight in the master bath, which caused the leak in the roof, which I told them about before I started buying the house. And they said, well, we'll get it fixed. We'll replace the skylight. They never replaced the skylight. So, of course, that for over a period of 5 years, of course, that's going to cause issues.
Oh yeah.
And then they moved the trailer so that it was in an area where there was no shade, was no tree to help keep the weather out of the skylight.
And you're talking about Florida here, so it's hot
Well,
as
no,
all.
this was in Missouri.
Oh,
This was
Missouri.
in
Okay,
Missouri.
okay.
That's even worse because you had hot and cold
Yeah.
variants.
Yeah.
So my stepdad tried to get me to have to pay for the repairs when we moved out. Unfortunately for him, I should say my ex-stepdad, in the divorce decree, it said the defendant, which would be the asshat extraordinaire, that he was responsible for all repairs to all rental trailers.
Oops.
Yeah. So the judge said, you're claiming this is a rental property, correct? He's like, yes. Well, it says right here in the divorce decree that you are responsible for all repairs. So no, she is not going to pay you $5,000 for repairs that you should have been fixing in the first place.
Oh, boy, shit.
Oh, he was so
Yeah, that
and then
sounds like Fran.
well, and then he tried to get me to have to pay him rent during their divorce process, and the judge was like, did she sign a contract with you? No. So who's she paying all this money to? Your wife, or soon to be ex-wife, who she has a contract with. Yeah. Okay. So she doesn't owe you money because you didn't sign a rental agreement with her. So you're shit out of luck.
Oops.
He was so pissed.
Oh,
Pissed.
God, yeah. Oh, man.
Because he was trying to have me have to pay him $1,000 a month for a trailer. $1,000 for a single wide trailer. Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh my God, the guy
That's,
was an
if
idiot.
you'll excuse the expression, that's Los Angeles rent.
Yeah. You can rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Missouri on 10 acres for $600.
I'm doing it
With a
wrong,
garage.
man. I'm doing it wrong. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have the $600. That's one of the things I'm doing.
Well, but
wrong.
you can rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on half an acre for $350.
I mean, that sounds pretty good if you don't mind getting
You can
hit
rent
with,
to own it.
if you don't mind getting hit with tornadoes 3 or 4 times a year, yeah, that's not a bad idea,
Depending
really.
upon where you live, yeah. I spent.
Well, you were right
See,
up
I lived
Tornado
in.
Alley, weren't you?
I lived in Tornado Alley from 2001 until 2015, and I had one tornado come near me the entire time, and that was half a mile away.
Lucky.
Yeah, it missed. It went down the gravel road basically, and missed the property that I lived on by about 400 feet. But I lived in the back half of the property, so I still had half a mile between me and it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I've only been through 2, maybe 3 tornadoes in my lifetime. Well,
Well,
I lived in Ohio and Pennsylvania throughout my life.
yeah. I'm more scared of hurricanes than I am tornadoes.
Oh, hurricanes are a bitch.
Yeah. The last hurricane I went through in Okinawa was a category 5. And it sat over Okinawa for 3 days.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, it did. I think they said $15 billion worth of damage.
I was gonna say, did it do more damage than the Americans did in World War II? You know,
It did, I think, about $15 million worth of 15 billion. I don't remember.
well, it's a difference of only a factor of 1,000. You know, so
Yeah, well, the thing is it flipped C-141s, big cargo planes,
yeah,
over Starlifters. He flipped it, ripped the cables out that were holding them down, and flipped the planes.
oh
That's
my,
a huge plane,
yep.
and it flipped them over like they were toy cars. It ripped out a 300-year-old bonsai tree
Oh man,
that left a hole. I think they said it was 100 feet wide in it, because it was the tree in front of the base commandant's house, basically the base commander's house. It was they had transplanted it from the forest to Kadena when they created Kadena.
Okay.
So, but
Yeah, Omega Nuts has a
yeah.
point. You know, planes do love to fly.
Yeah, they do. But when they're strapped down with 5 foot wide cables at every 3 feet, and it rips the cables out of the ground and flips it over, yeah,
Yeah, you're dealing with
yeah.
some wind.
They said the sustained winds were 160 miles an hour, I think it was. And we
With
had wind gusts up to 200.
450? Oh, okay.
200. Yeah. So, all right, I've got to go. It's 10 o'clock. I'm
Oh,
hungry.
you get some foods and you get some sleeps and thank you for coming
I'm worn
by.
out.
Seriously.
I
and
always have fun chatting with you.
I don't know, man. I question your taste.
Oh, I'm just warped and strange. That's all there is to it.
That explains a lot.
And proud to be it. You know, there is no such thing as normal. I'm Abby Normal, and I'm proud of it. You
There
know,
you go. There you go. Yeah. Strangely
I
enough, though, you didn't look like.
oh,
Hey,
go
sweetie.
on, buddy.
I'm trying to remember. Abby Normal, was that the person from whom the brain was taken?
I think so. I don't remember. It's been a
Oh,
while.
yeah. Igor was the character
Mm-hmm.
played by. What the hell is his name? I can see the face. I can't think of the name.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Anyway, yeah. In case, as I've said a couple times, and I'm trying to not feel as sheepish with this whole thing, and you would never know it. With the whole
Oh.
hardware thing and everything else, I've got the bowl out, and If you don't, if you feel like it, if you want to throw me $1 or two, that's fine. Thank you. Really.
I would if I had
No,
it.
no. I
I
mean,
would if I had it.
talking to everybody out there. Thank you, Marty Feldman. I thought it was Marty something.
Yes, I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
and as usual, I want to thank everyone who is here, and I want to thank everyone who is not here. I love having you
Well,
people sitting there and listening to me bloviate, and I love to
well,
have you around for the.
like I've always told you, if you need to just chat, you've got my Discord info. Drop me a line.
I may actually do that one of these days instead of bowling up in the closet. And
Well, I'm not much younger than you, and we pretty much lived close to the same generation, and
well, I
we've
don't know.
had
You've got what is it, 13 years?
yeah, but that's we've gone through a lot of similar experiences.
Well, that
Not
too.
all. We both dealt with family issues. We both dealt with abuses and relationship issues and that kind of shit. So I can
Moo.
relate to what you're going through on a lot of stuff. So, uh, you know, I don't know how many days that curling up in a closet sounded like a really good thing.
I actually used to do that. I would
My
get into the
thing was
closet and
to
close the door behind me.
my thing was pulling the blankets over my head after closing and locking my bedroom door and just telling everybody just go the fuck away.
Oh, I still pull a blanket over my head. Oh yeah. Um,
Yeah.
well, it's nice to have.
So.
It's nice to have a pedina that I can do that with.
Mhm.
$35 at Target, and it was worth every dollar of it.
Mm,
Um, it's not. Oh my word! I remember the patina that those two had when I was a kid.
mhm.
We're talking not really, but it felt like a foot thick,
Mhm.
and it was feathers.
Mm, mine, I have a down alternative quilt, but one thing my mom did make was an Afghan,
Okay.
and she was making this when I was 2 or 3 years old, and she probably finished it when we were 5,
Oh yeah, those
and
can
it's
be.
mine now. It's mine now, and I still have it. And it's just one of those things where it's really heavy, and
Yeah,
you put it on your bed, and it's like having a weighted blanket.
yeah, definitely. I was thinking about what that was all about, and then now that I'm thinking of the
Hmm.
patina, yeah, now I do get what a weighted blanket is about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like having my granny come hug me for a while. I miss my
Literally,
granny hugs.
because yeah, the all of the beds at Bobka's house had that sort of
Mm-hmm.
comforter or patina. Well, patina is a Slovak word, and it means
Hmm.
blanket, basically.
Quilted
Uh,
blanket, yeah.
yeah, but they were all full of the down, as you say,
Hmm.
and felt like a foot thick and
Yeah.
warm.
Yep. Oh yeah. My granny had those, and there was nothing better after a bad day than to go to Granny's and just the first thing she'd do is, "Oh, sweetie, come here and have a hug."
Okay.
And she was 5'11", 300 pounds,
Oh boy.
and she
Okay.
was she was squishy. I mean, seriously, you'd get a hug from her, and it would just wrap around you. It was like sinking into a pillow, and I miss that. I will miss that to the day I die.
Yeah, Bobka was no small woman. I may have
Mm-mm.
shown the pictures previously, but I can't anymore. At least
Have
not
to
until I can.
see. I will have to see if I have a picture of my Granny Wimbeck. I think I do, in my photo album. I'll take a picture. I'll snap a picture of it on my phone and I'll post it one of these days for you to see. But my pap was a skinny beanpole. And then you've got my granny, which is a big, strapping woman next to him. And she's taller than him. She was taller than him. She was heavier than him. But it worked. She took care of him after he came back from the wars. And without fail, every morning she would take care of him, make sure he was up, and everything that needed to be done medically was done for him, and she never resented it. And she said that's just part of love.
Sounds familiar. I remember Bubka complaining only once about the measured portions of the food and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Detko was diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, she was diabetic.
okay, and then she was, this is all a whole bunch of hard work, measuring out the food and everything else. Like,
Yeah.
and then my aunt Norse simply said, "Yeah, do you want Papa around?" And
Yep.
she says, "Yep, I do."
Yeah, well, my pep had a bad leg where he had gotten injured and he didn't have the circulation he should have in it.
Okay.
So she would spend half an hour every morning before breakfast rubbing a cream into his leg that would help increase his circulation and then putting on special socks for him
Well, the
and then putting
rubbing
his
did more
shoes
to
on.
increase the circulation than the cream did, but we
Right, that and
get the
the
point.
compression
Yeah.
blankets. Yeah, but she did that, or compression socks, and she did that every morning without fail
Sounds
for
like the way a friend of mine
40
took.
years.
Okay. Sounds pretty
And they
much.
were in their 70s when she passed away, and she married him when she was 18. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, with Babka and Detko, they married in 1916.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he died in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
I think he. Trying to remember somewhere in a set. She lived on. She lived on another 21 years.
Mm. Well,
No,
my
no, no,
papa.
not 21 years. I'm sorry. She died in 1986.
Mm-hmm.
So another 13 years.
Yeah, my granny died in 1989, and or 88, because it was right before Thanksgiving. And Pap only lived 2 years after her death. So
That kind of
makes.
reminds me in a way of those two.
Mm-hmm.
He died in September and she died in May.
Mm-hmm.
September
Yep.
16 is when he died, and she died in May of 17. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I guess she couldn't get along without him because all they had was each other, basically.
Yep.
They alienated
Well,
everybody else.
yeah. Well, he would constantly ask, "Where's Beatrice? Where's Beatrice? I need to. Be, Beatrice was my granny, and he's like, Beatrice is missing. Where's Beatrice?" He couldn't remember anything but me and my grandma. My granny went back. So, yeah.
Hoy vey.
All right, gotta go.
You got to get out of here. And
Yep.
I'll search through the defriginator and see if there's anything. I really don't want to go grocery shopping right now. I mean, there is the
What are you
Squall
looking
Mart.
for? Mm-hmm.
Something simple, something I can just throw together in a quick thing, and I'll worry about the more involved stuff tomorrow.
I don't know. Do you
I'm-
have rice?
I definitely have rice, and I may have a chicken breast up in the freezer.
Well, but if you don't want to defrost anything, some white rice with a little bit of butter, cinnamon, and sugar.
Oh, that's something else to do. Yeah.
Mhm.
My ex
And
used
it's
to
quick,
do
it's
the rice
easy.
and soy sauce, but
Or the rice with soy sauce. If you have any veggies, you can
No,
make a
I ate myself out of veggies. I have to get
eat
some.
yourself out of veggies. Do you have any canned meat, like
Uh,
spam or anything like that?
Nothing like that. As I say, I may have a chicken breast up in the.
Mm,
If I
yeah.
don't have that, I may cut off and thaw a little bit of the turkey that I was going to put into a pot
Uh-huh.
pie. It won't be that bad.
You could take some rice with a little bit of vanilla,
That's something I'd never thought of.
and kind of make a rice pudding without raisins, vanilla, sugar, butter,
I haven't
that
made
kind of thing.
rice pudding in ages.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have milk.
hmm
Oh
Well,
well.
yeah, but um, yeah. Have you thought about getting powdered milk? It's terrible, but
Well, I
for
do
those
have the
times
powdered
when you want
milk
it.
here, for
hmm
emergencies, and I guess this would be one.
Yeah, you could use it. Just make it a little extra powder to give you more flavor.
Yeah, pretty much. Um,
hmm
we'll find something. We definitely. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
worst comes to worst, I could always fry the cat.
Oh, no. No, we do not stir fry our cats. Although I'm seriously tempted to kill my cats. They
Uh,
have been they don't like the generic food I bought and they don't want
okay.
to eat it. And I'm not going to go out and buy another bag of cat food. I can't afford it. So
Yeah.
they're just going to have to eat it and be happy they have it.
Well, that's one thing that purple rhymes with orange turned me on to.
hmm
When he was here in July, when he came here, and then we
hmm
went to Kentucky. It
Right.
was time for me to buy cat food, so he had me buy the expensive
You guys
stuff.
don't mind if I rejoin the hangout at my
It
Uh-huh.
window,
was like
right?
$30 million for a bag, but that
Yeah.
bag lasted half a year,
Right.
literally 6 months. I'm just finishing
What?
it up now,
No, we're getting ready to go, Talon. So,
and yeah, so I'm just gonna have to remember to get that for her again.
yeah. Well, I have two cats and they eat in a month and a half a 13-pound bag of cat food.
Okay, then.
So, it's just a matter of money was really tight because I had to pay the extra $28 to renew my homeowner's insurance after it went up another because it went up $40 and then I had to pay the extra 28 to renew it. So it ended up being $145 for the renewal cost.
Yeah, NA.
So,
I like that
yeah.
idea of about scrambling the egg on that rice. And I know I'm.
Yeah, that'll work.
Take care, honey.
Bye.
It. I know I'm complaining. I'm out of eggs as well. I'm out of pretty much everything. That's why I have to go grocery shopping. Um, I ate my way through the pantry at the end of the year. And oh, are you gone? I'm not looking. Yeah, okay. That's all right then. Um, so everybody out there, as I say, I want to thank everybody who's here. I want to thank everybody who's not here, and thank you for coming by, sincerely and amazingly. And until the next time. Until the next time. Thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.